Wake up, Maggie, I think I got bad news to fucking tell to you. It's come from fucking high above, there's not much I can do. You gave us Maude and Helena, not in France, but you asked for $4 more. Now you got no fucking chance. They said cut her ass with flare and fucking gas. $4,000, please! Murdoch said no! I tried to stall, I tried to plead, but the room had gone all fucking cold. Murdoch stood shirtless, titties out, screaming, does she think I shit out gold? And beside him, sipping fucking Fanta Light, delayed my song jobs, yelled, she's fucking done tonight. And also a lad with fucking glasses, eyes, long black hair, and fucking financier spite. He demanded kill the next door neighbor and spare the fucking rest. Her other roles can just be voiced by fucking Les. We're bringing Marsha Mates Mengaven, but she can't do the fucking horses. Oh Maggie, no, I hate this fucking corporate sin, but the fucking yellow empire wants fucking blood and flesh and skin. The flight from Denver's not that fucking far, they say, but they'd rather crush the Flanders life than raise the fucking pay. It's not that long of a flight, never anything else I didn't want to fucking not do. That fucking financier boy with a fucking business spleen, he said Maude's fucking expendable, Hoover and the others keep. Then vanished back into a chauffeured fucking Jeep. It was a limo. And I stood there with the death script in my fucking hand. A fake fucking moral man, obeying fucking command. Word risk in a fucking box. Murdoch says no. $4,000 fucking please. You gave so fucking much for so damn long, but their fucking loyal can snap like a t-shirt cannon gone fucking wrong. Ned's now fucking single, Rod and Todd would not fucking like it too. The laughs are gone, replaced with fucking ladies anew. And Murdoch raged and Jobs just grinned, and that teen investor sold Maude fucking short again. So goodbye Maggie with your fucking grace and heart. They killed Maude fucking dead to tear the fucking soul apart. All for a raise you fucking earned 10 times before. Now I'm just a fucking middleman closing the fucking door. And somewhere deep I know it's fucking true. You deserved way fucking more than what they did to fucking you. But you can't do the fucking noise. We're bringing Marsha Mintz-Fuck-Gaven. We're bringing Marsha Mintz-Fucking-Gaven for fucking $1,000, please. Fade into distant fucking trombone.
Alright, called open today, the Roswell cast. I speak only one language, and it is not my own, says Margaret Roswell, Senior.
Indeed, I do not have access to the script. Now I do.
Really?
Now I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
What is this imagery? Is that AI?
Yeah.
It's surprising that I'm surprised, but that's probably the closest ever to what she actually looks like.
That's Maggie Roswell as Maude Flanders in the Flanders household, saying, I have only one voice and it is not my own. And there's an angry Maggie Roswell. Cold opening today, the cold dude in light flannel suit in LA night scene. Welcome back. He dwells immediately on Bobbins and Flanders and how they died. They bring us a picture of Maggie where she seems to be dressed as Shaggy. In case you don't recognize the name, I know you recognize the voice. She did the voice of Helen in the Simpsons movie. The dude is in a music bunker. He says, it's an honor to meet you. I've heard all about you, but I've never ever met you. Reveal, the Roscast, a very Maggie tale. And
Shaggy Roswell.
here's the theme tune.
Whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too. Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
Certainly they would.
Beautiful, and she is, as we find out, a quarter Mexican, so I think she'd enjoy that sort of
Indeed.
Spanish influence.
The Roswell for Lifetime interview special 50 seconds. Intro music, dramatic pulsing synth with eerie whispers.
She was the voice of a generation. Then she vanished into legend. Tonight, the truth emerges. 65 Simpsons characters. Approximately 290 episodes, but definitely more like 600. The Tim Conway Show. Murphy Brown. A pup named Scooby-Doo. SluggerCon 2012. Pretty in Pink Ink. 1997 nominee. Cast Individual Achievement Voice Acting by a 2014 nominee. Television Voice Acting Award Best Vocal Ensemble. Television Series. Comedy Musical The Simpsons. Possibly an Emmy Award, or at least a nomination. With over 10 Foxes in her command. Winner of Maude Flanders Heat Magazine. Warren of the Winter. 5 years in a row. Voted most likely to swipe up. Picnic basket. By all the high formers by money. The woman behind the mod. The wolf behind the mag. Yes, bloody footloons. It's Maggie Roswell. And Rod and Todd would like it too.
Cut to glitchy footage of shadowy figure in pink coat. Good evening, I'm Elena Graves. And this is this is lifetime event unlike any other. Maggie Roswell, Maude Flanders herself, sat down with us after decades of silence.
Almost thousands of years.
What began as a $4,000 dispute with Fox became a descent into madness and rebirth. Security dragging Maggie out from the building, Moldovan foxholes, raw chicken feast and a screaming rabbit. You should do the Maggie voice. You should do the Maggie voice and we'll just pitch it up to be like Maude. We'll do that the whole way through. That's much better than the other one.
Okay, they wanted me gone, so I became something else.
From French boardrooms to Czech wastelands, Hollywood carnage and a sax-wielding Bill Clinton and a war with B. Arthur's ghost, howling explosions and a saxophone wail. This is the Roswell story, unfiltered, and it's only on Lifetime. Maggie in Moldovan Warren, eyes glowing, holding an Emmy made of chicken bones. Tagline.
The Roswell interview, one night, no limits.
Ow!
Ow.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
Maggie, can you walk us through the day? Everything changed for you.
Oh, I surely can. I walked in wearing pink and mauve, thinking I was ready for a simple conversation. I asked for $4,000 an episode. I was Maude Flanders after all, and I'd just been nominated for an Emmy for Sherry Bobbins. Instead, I got a flat no from Rupert Murdoch, or really, from Matt Groening via some Amazon exec. Then, security was called. No explanation, just a buzz pass in my hand, like that was all I was worth. The lobby was cold, full of awards. Not the one that I got, the Emmy for Sherry Bobbins, but none of that mattered in the moment. I remember walking out and seeing the interns. One of them glanced up. Their face changed when they saw me, like they felt something uncomfortable. I don't know if they recognized me or felt pity, but it hit me. They didn't want to just erase me professionally, they wanted me gone, invisible.
Oh, by the way, did you build like a big backstory out of Maude, like in your head?
No. I really didn't put any thought into it and I just started doing a voice.
Oh la la. certainly would. Maggie Roswell was born on the 40th of November 1952 in Los Angeles, California. She's an actress known for Simpsons movie, Fire and Ice 1983, and The Simpsons TV show. She's been married to Hal Rails since 5 June 1987. They have one child who may or may not be known as Saxophone Boogaloo.
Jesus Christ.
Saxophone and Bootaboo. Jesus Christ.
Oh, she was the self from Monsters, Madness and Magic. I did not know who the self was in reference to. I thought it was just something you'd found that was similar to DD&D. I didn't know it was Roswell thing.
Exactly.
Wow.
She was
well,
in
the
Pretty in Pink.
context, she was, as she mentions, I think, and Murphy Brown. It was about time that before we ended things, we simply must speak to Maggie Roswell about what she did and didn't do on The Simpsons and her history. So this one's for you, Maggie.
Yeah, veteran actress and voice artist known for long-running work on The Simpsons. Her career spans live action, animation, and voice work. Key roles: The Simpsons. Iconic voices including Helen Lovejoy, Won't Somebody Think of the Children? Luann Van Houten, Maude Flanders, Miss Hoover. She was also in the Simpsons movie 2007 as Helen Lovejoy and voiced Tigra in the animated fantasy Fire and Ice 1983. What else was she in?
I believe she played Mrs. DX in the 1986 movie Pretty in Pink. She appeared in 45 episodes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Caitlin. She was in a pup named Scooby-Doo, which ran for 2 years, voiced in 15 episodes. I believe that was one. Because I have at some point toyed with the idea of the Roswell clip cast, which we might still have time for. Excuse me. And I do remember looking at a Scooby-Doo Roswell clip at some point, but it was very, very minimal. And she played James Bond Jr. in Darkwing Duck.
I'm sure she did. She was Animaniacs. She was in Murphy Brown, Quantum Leap, LA Law, and The Tim Conway Show, and numerous short films including CIA Moms and Boomer Queen, which you can watch on her website.
I think Boomer Queen was a series that she did where she just discussed things.
Oh, because she's advertising Costco on the one on her website.
Exactly. Everybody likes Costco.
Hello, it's me, Lel Poncho, and I've crafted a sneaky takeover in the form of my own twisted version of a sponsor race season. It'll only take 10 minutes of your precious damn time, but I'll be upfront. It has nothing to do with Maggie Roswell, or Maude Flanders, or even The Simpsons. The closest link you get really is Flim Flam. Anyway, enjoy the segue.
This is what sponsor races are amounted to now, basically.
To bus sponsor. Yes, absolutely.
There were the credits for the movie. The only reason I didn't not just take them out is because I found out that Flim Flam had a surname.
What is his name?
His surname is McScam.
No, it's
his full name is Flim Flam McScam. They were simply the credits for the film I would like you to watch now.
Hooray. That was very good. I liked it. It had a very Netflixy kind of feel, right?
It was not at all just the credits to Westworld.
Oh, was it Westworld? I was trying to work out whether it was, what's it called? True Detective.
And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold a white horse. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Gradually. And Poncho followed with him.
Hello, it's me. Lel Poncho taking centre effing stage for once, and also finally, and also again. What initially started as a parody of I Am a Celebrity, Please Get Me Out of Here, then briefly potentially a Big Brother parody, then a sponsor race parody where we only look at the shady comments said backstage to each other, and now to this, the Lee Zombie Apocalypse. That's right, these 20 sponsors who originally actually signed up for a season 11 of Sponsor Race are being thrust into Lee Town Centre. There are weapon stash everywhere, probably. After roughly 70 hours, a helicopter will land on top of the Pound Bakery apartment complex, and whoever has survived that long will be free to leave. There will not be more than a helicopter's capacity worth of sponsors left. Believe me, I wrote it. Anyway, let's airdrop the bastards in. The sponsors split into factions. Group 1 consists of Flim Flam, John Ujwo, Carrie Dorita, Katie Foucault-Rimbaud, and Rachel Fagerberg from Boss Pops. They head for the fortified Spinning Jenny Tower block. The second group is Gayla Rizzato, who has brought her Trombolees, Lauren and Hacker, Gorn and Steam, Boat, Michael, and they go for the abandoned Lee Market. Group 3, which is Chip Shop Diva, Heights, Mick McLaurin, Baron Blood, and Funky Side decide to use cover of darkness and head below to the Lee sewers. Group 4, Frank Lapidus, the Horse Whisperer and Gigi, just flat out try to flee, nicking 3 horses from the middle of the town centre that I didn't actually put there, and headed for the countryside. And also to people decide to fly solo. Those people being Queen Vic Big Minge Energy, who is armed to the fucking teeth, and a terrified, but gnarling El Chupacabra. It decides to hide in a porta potty outside the bus station, but zombies quickly realise it isn't there, and tip it over and tear through the bottom, dragging them out through the toilet, and absolutely gorging on it. El Chupacabra OT. Riding through the countryside, the Horse Whisperer quickly loses control of his spooked horse when they come across a horde of the Undeaderinos. After he falls from his horse, zombies rip out his intestines out. As Frank and Gigi try to fly, the intestines fly around, and they inadvertently lasso Gigi, whose terrified horse accidentally stamps on her skull, smashing it like a fragile china cup full of brains. Horse Whisperer, ood. Gigi Peasant, ood. The Sower group unfortunately find the entire place occupied with zombos. Whilst fleeing a horde of, Baron Blood runs too far in a panic, and falls face first onto a running generator fan, which pulps his head entirely. Baron Blood, OOT. Over at Lee Market, things were initially seeming quiet, but as the sun sets and night dawns, Lee Market becomes a hotbed of zombies activity, and the group are split in the ensuing chaos. Lauren and Hacker flee to the elevator, trying to close elevator behind them while zombies try to force them open, slowly crushing Lauren between the doors while others gnaw on their legs. The zombies eventually eat her to death and gain access to the elevator, shuffling towards and looming over poor Hacker, Lauren and Hacker oot. Back in the sewers, the group have stuck together and fought off the undead. But after finding a seemingly safe cubby to stay in for the night, Lee chooses to go back down to search for supplies, quest his thirst for the supernatural. During this time, he is hoisted by a dangling wire trap and now stuck upside down his head, and top bits are just dined upon immensely, but painfully slowly by roaming zombies. McLaurin, OOT. Back at Lee Market, Steamboat Michael has found a storage closet and locked himself in. But upon hearing squeaks, he switches on the light and discovers fucking loads of zombie rats, and then gets trapped in a room full of reanimated rats that burrow into him until he explodes. Steamboat, or OT, after a successful and relatively quiet first full night holed up inside the Spinning Jenny apartment complex, the survivors are mooching around for weaponry, so they can get rid of some of the zombies gathering in the car park. KDF. Rambo finds a chainsaw and uses it as they attempt to clear the horde they locked out last night. Katie tries to chainsaw a zombie, but trips, accidentally beheads Rachel Fagerberg from Boston Pops Orchestra, and also accidentally, but quite clearly intentionally cuts off Carrie Derrida's arm, then falls down hugging the still running saw into her own chest as zombies close in. During this chaos, a panicked flimflam gets lifted by a crowd of zombies and passed around as they tear chunks off like concertgoers grabbing souvenirs. Katie Foucault-Rambo, Rachel Fagerberg, flimflam, oot. In Lee Market, only Gayla and Gorn remain. Gayla reveals she has been bitten on her left tit, and is a Gorner. She selflessly creates a distraction, giving Gorn time to flee the market as a zombie forces its hand into a screaming Gayla's mouth, rupturing their throat from the inside. Trombolees, oot. Over on the outskirts of Lee, Queen Vic has run out of ammo and Frank's horse ran out of being alive, and the two have correlated on the same gas station, where they find a huge tanker full of supplies, weaponry and even some fancy new clothes. They cannot believe their luck. Whilst filling up a huge lorry full of supplies with gas, Queen Vic lights a victory cig, drops it, and blows herself and Lapidus up in a huge explosion. Big Minge Energy, Frank Lapidus, oot. Elsewhere, Gorn has fled to Lee Fire Station, and whilst looking for something to use as a weapon from oncoming zombs, Gorn accidentally activates a pressurized hose. It whips air and uncontrollably, striking Gorn repeatedly, battering him down until he collapses. Completely twatted out and defenseless against the onslaught of zombies who chow down, Gorn oot. Over at Spinning Jenny, the team very quickly narrowed down to just Jong and an armless Carrie. How does she smell? Jong, preoccupied with finding an escape route from the zombies that are beating down the door, doesn't realise Carrie has died from blood loss and turned into a zombie. She bites his throat clean out. Jong use a hoe, oot. Carrie Doritoed. down in the sewers. Chip Shop Diva and Funky C have to just stay where they are for roughly 18 more hours, and they will be taken out of leave. However, a surface-level bomb is dropped for a laugh, and it rumbles CSD and C out of their safe hole. They are forced to flee to the now fire-encrusted surface, where hundreds of fire zombies are roaming around. Meanwhile, in a shock twist, Lapidus had gone for a slash when Queen Vic was having her bifter, so he survived the petrol station explosion. In another wild twist, Hacker had managed to bury himself inside the corpse of his best friend Lauren, like with those Tunton things in Star Wars to avoid being devoured by zombies. Then when the bomb went off, it cleared a big hole in the back of the lift, giving Hacker a path to crawl safely away. CSD, Funky C, and Hacker reunite in the middle of that main road in Lee Town Centre where Specsavers and the charity shops are. They decide to stay as a four, and make their way to the roof of the place I named earlier that they need to get to that I can't quite remember now. As the foursome attempt to traverse the zombie-infested building by covering the messols in zombie viscera and blood and shit, the group make their way up to the top floor skylight room, then aim for the rusty ladder leading upwards towards the roof. However, they aren't quiet enough and zombies catch wind of their bullshit. In the fleeing chaos, Frank is grabbed and a zombie quite literally bites his whole jaw off. And then they all just have a go on him, Lapidus. The remaining trio begin climbing the ladder to escape up to the roof, Hacker first, then Chip Shop Diva. But as Funky C climbs up, the rusted rungs give way. The ladder breaks off and Funky C falls down and straight through the glass skylight to the bottom floor, smacking down into the ground, breaking their back. Zombies begin to gravitate towards him. Funky C. Wait a minute, not oot. Funky C seems to have survived the fall. Fun fact, I didn't catch the irony of this until the second listen. And whatever bond he and Chip Shop Diva have made over the past 40 hours has clearly had an impact, as she dives back down into the building to save him. Hacker stays up top with a crossbow and a dream, clearing a path for CSD. She hoists Funky C up and then, with a Preplan rope system I didn't mention before, they are pulled gradually up to the safety of the roof. Ding dong, the time has somehow passed already. Time flies when you're having your jaw eaten clean or being slowly eaten like a kebab when hanging upside down in a sewer trap. The chopper lands. No tension, no zombies approaching. The three survivors simply board the chopper and fly away from the horrible, miserable piss-soaked city of Lee. The end. Well, almost. In the chopper, Hacker realizes he's been bit on the right tit, and Funky C and Chip Shop Diva yeet his furry ass right out the door. Now it's the end. The end. I have been Lel Poncho, and you have been wildly aroused by my appearance. Good night.
The end. We have the end. Chip Shop Diva and Funky Simon.
Exactly, what a duo. And they now are the sole survivors of the Lee zombie massacre, which took the place of sponsor race season 11.
Is there a reward for them?
Life. To survive. They might be given a job in the future.
Yeah.
Fagerberg's reward was life, and she got beheaded in this one. So.
Oh, God. So, yeah, but those two probably get an MFIMDb somewhere, right?
Whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
Indubitably.
So, content one. So we're looking at clips of the Maggie Roswell and Nathan and Brendan O'Leary. I just want you to know I'm so thrilled. I don't think she's allowed to do the voice anymore. That's my point. I was like, is that you claim that again? It's just that she's got a bit older and a little bit wiser. And but I think she has to do. She can only do 90% Maude.
I would retroactively agree with you, but I think it is more. I think they're probably fine to do it. But I think that she's just sort of doing a kind of blend of herself and Maude, because she's kind of saying it as herself, but also as Maude. So
it is a bit Maude, a bit meta Maude, isn't it?
It's not full Maude, but you can't say that Rod and Todd would like it too. Is Roswell?
No. Chapter 1. Close encounters of the voice kind, early years in inspo. So she grew up in LA, and she says most people don't, and I think statistically that's very true. Her brother is in music, but no one else in the family is in showbiz. Interview is revealed to be a yellow-hooded child, Sharon FF Jr., I say. She's done Shakespeare, Maggie, not the child, but she likes shtick, she says. Then we've got a pod for you, I think. Likes fun. And as a child, she tried to mimic the voice of the cartoons, including Mel Blanc and Pepe Le Pew, which was her French voice. And then she goes on to do a little bit of French, Le Pew. If only she'd done that in the interview, I'd say. Stated when she was 6 or 7, she played Snow White in a park and was a dwarf. She was dopey.
She was dopey.
In high school, she was in plays and everyone was clapping and the applause was like, okay, I'm in, I love this. Always, and here's a great quote, always what I wanted to do. There was never anything else that I didn't want to do.
Yes, and I know exactly what she means. So yeah, I thought it would be easier to split it into segments. It's just a selection of interviews that Roswell has done with seemingly like four completely different interviewees, which is natural, but none of the four of them are like press interviews, really. There's the heavyset African American man who's by far probably the best thing about this entire set of clips.
HSAAM.
I did like the thing he said at the start. It was like, I'm excited to meet you because I've heard of you and I've heard your voice, but I have never met you.
I don't know if he says I've heard your voice. He says I've heard of you, but I've never met you, which is...
He says two things, like I've heard of you and I've seen you, but I've never met you. Yeah, and then a small girl, a young girl, and then sort of like a woman who looks like she'd run a nail salon.
There's a Comic-Con nail salon woman, and then there's a New Zealand man, right?
Yes, there is an actual televisual interview with a guy who kind of knows stuff from The Simpsons.
Kind of. And then she's interviewed on like Colorado local TV where she's on camera, but we don't see who she's interviewed by. But lots of Maggie.
Indeed. Yeah, lots of clips. She does as most celebrities probably do. I've never really done this before for another celeb, but the same story told in like different factions, which is why I've just sort of selected versions from different, like I've picked my favorite version of the same story for like, each interview and compile it into a timeline, if you will. So we find out a lot of stuff. There is surprisingly, considering we've been doing this for 5 years, and I've been a fan of The Simpsons since 1994 or whatever. Whatever. I didn't know a lot of this stuff about Maggie Roswell.
You didn't know her brother was in music and she played Snow White as a part. She was dopey as a dwarf in a park as a child.
No, I did not know these. The only things I know about her are the things that we have decided for ourselves, like she lives in a warren in Moldova.
I went to LA City College. They had an incredible person who taught dialects, and so I got dialects, and then I started teaching people dialects. She was supposed to go to UCLA, but the teachers were incredible, and so instead she simply went to school with Mark Hamill, who is Luke Skywalker.
Indeed, another mind-blowing fact. It's all coming out straight in clip one. Pepe Le Pew. I would very much like to see Roswell doing Shakespeare as Maude. That is something I like, non-ironically, like just using Maude's voice in a Shakespeare thing.
I think so. But I think it sounded a little bit like this.
That monkey looks like Stewie.
Cutest little baby face.
So French.
Why is he not talking? Say something. Goddamn skunk.
All right, Cherry. The courtship is over.
Yeah, that's good work, Maggie.
If you will. So yeah, went to school with Luke Skywalker, who did appear in season 10. So I wonder if they had a brief reunion and he vouched for her vocal work.
A little bit of brief. Yeah, well, that's good.
Did she quit? Yeah, she quit. It's sort of a grey area that we always sort of imply that she was sacked, but she wasn't. She quit because they said you can keep your job, but you're not having any more money.
Exactly. No, they did. They offered her $150 more. She asked for $4,000, and they said $150, which was not even enough to pay for the flight from Denver. But we will get to that later.
We will. We'll get to what a sort of trendsetter ahead of the time she actually was in regards to at-home vocal work.
And a very Maudie business proposition that she set up later. When she was talking about that, I'm like, hold on, is she now writing Maude scripts?
Cold opens. I know who would like it. Robin Tosh.
Maggie Seal, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
So Maggie, what was going through your mind when you got the chance to meet with the president of Fox France?
Is this me? I'm just doing the Maggie voice, Anna. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, I'll cut that bit and put it at the end. After the disaster at Fox, my agent, Mark Mandarin, called me up with what sounded like a lifeline. French Maude Flanders, he said. French, like Pepe Le Pew. I was desperate, so of course I jumped on the idea. I was so sure they'd want the Roz, the iconic Maude, in any language. So I packed up and hitchhiked to France, like some kind of hopeful, washed-up star. A part of me thought, this is it. This is my shot to redeem myself. This is my La La Land. When I arrived at Fox France, I was met by Larinard, the president of Fox France. A plush office, the walls lined with expensive wine and grapes everywhere, and grapes everywhere. It looked like the cover of some glossy French magazine. I thought, this is it, I've made it again. But then, when I sat down with Larinard, it was clear, as that French wine, he didn't get it. He didn't get to the voice. I started strong, but the look on his face, the way he stared at me like I was just a sideshow, Bob, it wasn't going well, Rahi. I could feel my nerves get the best of me. And the more I tried to explain, the worse it got. I ended up pathetically pleading for the role. You could see the desperation all over me. It was humiliating, honestly. And guess what? I didn't get the job. That was my last shot. Thanks, Maggie. That's sad to hear. And I think Rod and Todd would like it too.
Maggie's here, whatever. And Rod and Todd would like it too.
It is fun that the and Rod and Todd would like it too sort of bit that we do actually came from Maggie Roswell herself in this Maude-cast. It's one of the very few things that we would not have if we did not have that Maggie Roswell cameo.
Indeed, indubitably. Chapter 2, Invasion of the Bit Parts, pre-Simpsons gigs. You've been informed on the screen just doing the voice. And I say, voices like that are easy to do. She did Pretty in Pink with Ringwald and Happy Days and Mork and Mindy.
Indeed, I believe he says voices like that are not easy to do. He's very supportive.
He's very supportive, isn't he?
He's also blown away by the fact that she acted prior to voice role.
Yeah, she is very clear that she found it demeaning to even consider a voice role. But I did see the clip from Mork and Mindy where she was in, and I can attest that it is Maggie Roswell. And if we ever get to the Maggie Roswell clips, it'll be a delight.
Indeed. Are you playing the content? I can't remember what the plan was.
No, I don't think we'll play the interviews.
I've forgotten what she said in this part.
Let's play the interviews then. And Rod and Todd would like it too. Maggie's here, whatever.
I think you went past it.
And Rod and Todd would like it too.
Oh no, it was a YouTube video. Never mind.
Oh, mine's all in blue, right? I'm not looking for blue ones. I'm looking for black ones.
Oh yes, I was mistaken.
Maggie's here, whatever. And Rod and Todd would like it too.
I've sent it in.
Maggie's here, Maggie. And Rod and Todd would like it too.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Recently, we had the opportunity to talk with Maggie Roswell. Now, in case you don't recognize that name, I know you'd recognize her voice. She does a lot of the voices of the Simpson characters in the TV series. 2 of the characters even died. In fact, because they died, she did another character in the Simpson movie. She did the voice of Helen Lovejoy, the pastor's wife. First of all, let me tell you, it's an honor to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I've heard about you and I've read about you, but I had never met you.
Hi, this is Maggie Roswell and Nathan and Brendan O'Leary. I just want you to know that I am so thrilled that you have this great Maude-cast. And Todd and Rod would like it too.
Cool. Yeah, he's great.
And Todd would like whatever. And Rod and Todd would like it too.
I do also like, if you feel free to skip to chapter 2.
I'm going to play all of it now. We'll just listen to the whole thing. You can edit all. You can chop this all back up and move it around at will. It's all good stuff.
Yes, I like that he says that makes no sense.
What did he say?
He says that because Sherry Bobbins and Maude Flanders died, that she had to play Helen Lovejoy in the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
I had 100% forgotten that she played Helen Lovejoy.
That's sort of on you, really.
I was like, oh, she played Helen Lovejoy in the movie. Oh, doesn't she play Helen Lovejoy all the time? She does. Chapter 1, Close Encounters of the Voice Kind.
I grew up in Los Angeles, which is really wild because most people don't grow up in LA, but
statistically true.
The rest of my family, nobody was in the business. My brother started to go into the music business, but other than that, no one was in show business. I loved comedy. That was always, I love making people laugh. And I do dramatic. I have done dramatic things.
Jr.
I've also done Shakespeare and things like that, but it wasn't as good for me as doing comedy. I like shtick.
Yeah, we all like shtick.
like fun. Every time that I would see a cartoon, I try to mimic the voices. Mel Blanc, I guess, really taught me everything because he did all the voices for Pepe Le Pew, which was
You should do the voice now, Maggie.
my French voice. I actually started when I was, I think, like 6 or 7 years old, and I did Snow White at a park, and I played one of the dwarfs, the 7 dwarfs.
Which one?
And
I reckon it's dopey. Why is Sarah Flynn? Why is that child interviewing her?
Oh, I'm assuming that she paid. It'd be quite annoying if she didn't.
It'd be very rude, very strange if she paid to interview Maggie Roswell and then posted that on YouTube.
Yeah, it would.
For a child.
It seems like that's what's happened, though.
And I was dopey.
It's fairly recent as well, because which dwarf?
One of the dwarfs, the 7 dwarfs.
Which one?
And I was dopey. So that was like the first thing that I ever did. When I was in high school.
Did you do a lot of plays in high school or anything, Maggie?
And I started performing in plays and stuff.
Yes. How, was there anything like, what was it really that when you started? Here we go. Now we're up and running. So Maggie, how was it? Like, was there anything about the play that kind of like really hooked you in?
Then I heard everybody, clap.
Like the applause?
And I went, okay, the applause, I'm in. I love this. But I always...
Would you say this was like, were there anything else you wanted to do? Or was this always the thing that you didn't want to not do?
Clapping, and I went, okay, the applause, I'm in. I love that. But it's always what I want to do. There was never anything else I didn't want to do. I went to Los Angeles City College.
Do you know any celebrities from Los Angeles City College?
Were any celebrities, but I also want to know, why were the teachers? Because I heard at one point you were thinking of transferring to UCLA.
And then by the time I got to City College, they had an incredible person who taught dialects.
Really?
Did you teach any dialects at any point?
Then I got dialects, and then I started teaching people dialects, which was
fantastic, Maggie.
really fun. Originally, I was supposed to transfer to UCLA, but
why didn't you?
All the teachers at Los Angeles City College at that time were incredible.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever seen Star Wars?
You know who I think went to Los Angeles City College around the same time? What's his name?
So, and I went to school with Mark Hamill, who's
That's him? What was he in?
Joker.
Skywalker.
Joker in Batman.
He was Joker in the animated Batman series, wasn't he?
So, and I went to school with Mark Hamill, who's
You've already said that.
Skywalker, and Cindy Williams, and all these different people.
Cindy Williams, you say?
Yes, this will work just fine.
Maggie's here, whatever, 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 whatever. Maggie's here, whatever, 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 whatever.
Rod
would also like it too.
Clip
Rod
2.
wouldn't not do nothing too.
Clip 2, Invasion of the Bit Parts. Let's have a watch of that bit, because you're going to edit those other bits earlier, right?
Yes.
All right.
It's good to find our footing 45 minutes in.
One of the things that I really like about you've been in front of the screen. You've done more than just voices.
Right.
She has, but bear in mind that just voices? I mean, come on.
And I say just voices.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like that's so easy to do. That's extreme.
What's that?
He's saying it like it's so easy to do. It's extremely difficult to do.
Extremely difficult to do.
Oh, it is, isn't it? He caught it in the end.
Like about you've been in front of the screen. You've done more than just voices.
Right.
And I say just voices like that's so easy to do. That's extremely difficult to do.
I had no idea. I started in film and TV. So I did the Tim Conway show with Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, and did films like Lost in America, Pretty.
Lost in America, eh? Did you do any kind of, because John Hughes was really popular in the 80s. Did you do any of his films?
TV. So I did the Tim Conway show
Yeah,
with
you
Tim
said that already.
Conway and Harvey Korman, and did films like Lost in America, Pretty in Pink, Switchback, a bunch of movies.
Switchback, eh?
Pretty in Pink, which everybody, in the U.S. went, oh yeah, that was like an iconic movie. Ricky Brown.
Oh, Murphy Brown, yes. I did Murphy Brown. Well,
I remember that show so well.
So well, and then Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and Mork and Mindy and
Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, they're all spin-offs of the same show.
All of these.
It's almost unbelievable that she wasn't in Maude, given her big part.
Little bit older though, because Mork and Mindy and stuff were late 70s, I think. So there's about 4 or 5 years early. But I did do a check, and yeah, there doesn't seem to be even a series where they both crossed over. Never mind an episode, but it's quite strange.
Please go on, Maggie.
Shows that I did, right? And then they
you've already finished. Thank you.
That's enough for now.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
Certainly would.
So she'd quite established herself in the sitcom world as a kind of like Richard Kind or Stephen Tobolowsky.
Are those real people?
They're both real people. They're the kind of people that you see in everything, but you don't know their names of.
I don't know their names.
She was really set. If you Googled both of those people, you would immediately be like, oh, that guy, Richard Kind.
Oh, for real?
Not Richard Tobolowsky. So she, in a way, she could have been a powerhouse throughout the 90s and early 2000s in things akin to Friends and Seinfeld, as we mentioned earlier.
In many ways, yeah.
Found her footing and a solid paycheck for a while with this vocal work.
Till she blew it. So Maggie, after your failed attempt at becoming a French Maude, after your failed attempt at becoming a French Maude, you found yourself in an entirely new and strange situation. Can you tell us about this?
Oh yes, I can. After I got turned down in France, things just spiraled. I had nothing left, no job, no future, and to top it all off, someone took my $4,000 jacket right off my back. I was wandering the streets of Paris, wondering how it had all gone so wrong. Then this Moldovan guy, perhaps it was Statman John, offered me a ride. It was somebody. Maybe it felt like fate, this ride to Moldova. So I thought maybe this was my chance to reinvent education. So I went with him. He said he could help me get a job as a Moldovan Maude Flanders at Moldovan Fox, which was very exciting to me. And I think Saxophone and Bootaboo would like it too. When we got there, I realised it wasn't Moldovan Fox at all. No, it was called Franklin's Oxidation Units. You get it, FOX. I'm still not sure what that even means, but they had a lobby. And in that lobby, Vanilla, the 90s British girl band, they were there too, pitching their wild idea. No way, no way. They even claimed to have Jacques Derrida writing a story for them. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but you know what? He was a real fan. We were all there for the same reason. Shut out of our industries. Derrida, Potter, me, the leader of Fox Moldova, a literal fox. We were all just staring at each other. It was quiet, awkward, and then the Moldovan boss, Xavier Fox, finally spoke up. He looked at us, all serious, and said, I don't know what you want.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
It certainly would.
Just do me a little quick favour before I forget about it. Google who does the voice of French Maude Flanders, because I feel like I've been meaning to bring this up for a while.
Nathalie Bellune-Roitico.
That is not the correct one. That is a Quebec French-Canadian Flanders. Maybe it's not on there.
Nathalie Améroy.
I will come back to this, but I'm 90% confident that her surname is Renard.
Oh, like Fox.
Like Fox, which is bushy. No, that's incorrect.
Nathalie Améroy, who I used to go to school with. Pepe Le Pew. It's all making sense now. Slash films. Which number of roles has each actor played on The Simpsons? How many different voices has Margaret Simpson, Ka-ching, Maggie Roswell done?
That's the one. Are you asking me?
Yes.
Quiz. I have done over 20.
Yeah,
but in terms of
65.
Way over 20.
Maggie Roswell played Mrs. Hoover, Maude Flanders, Helen Lovejoy, Luann Van Houten, Mary Bailey, Princess Kashmir, Sherry Bobbins, Barbara Bush, Mona Simpson, Martha Quimby, a dermatologist, a nuclear inspector, Ned Flanders when he's screaming. According to the online fan sites, her resume includes a dozen others. However, nothing close to Hank and Dan, who do 800 voices.
Wow, I was incorrect, but I've come back to this. It is German, actually, so it's less, but the voice of German Maude Flanders is Manuela Renard.
Oh, Interesting. Neither of those names German. One French, one Spanish by the sounds of it. But that's the Europeans for you, isn't it?
Indeed.
Alternative names. The Maggie variant Roswell.
Indeed. Who would you say that? I don't have a factual answer for this, but I have my answer. Who do you think she has voiced the most on The Simpsons?
Which character has said the most lines by her?
Yes.
Oh, Luann, possibly, because Luann is quite talkative, isn't she?
Yes, I was also going to say Luann. I think since the return of Roswell in whatever year it was, Luann has spoken them. Especially these days, Luann speaks in almost every episode.
All right, she's like the narrator or something.
Yeah, it's like basically called the Luann Van Houtens. Whereas Helen is used for specific roles. Luann is basically the only woman in town with a voice.
Indeed. Helen just says the odd line and the rest of them are dead.
Helen's a bitch.
Left The Simpsons cast in spring 1999 after the show's 10th season, when 20th Century Fox refused to raise increase from $2,000 for the past 3 seasons. Before her departure, she'd been flying into LA from Denver on her own money to record her lines, but rejoined after a 3-year absence in 2002 due to a salary dispute.
She did. And then
I also run a voiceover studio with my husband Hal Rail, which is near our home in Denver.
That's right. Did you garner any Emmy nominations and Annie nominations for your role of Sherry Bobbins?
Garnered an Emmy nomination and an Annie nomination for my role as Sherry Bobbins, a character which was a takeoff on Mary Poppins.
Are you a lifelong Democrat or Republican?
I am a lifelong Democrat.
Where does your brother teach?
The Los Angeles area.
Where does your brother teach?
The Los Angeles area.
Do you still honor requests for autographs?
Unfortunately, as of June 2022, I do not. I don't really know what that means, but I do not.
Peace and love, peace and love.
Maggie Seal, whatever, 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 whatever.
They would. So Maggie, when you found yourself leading a group of bad foxes in Moldova...
It was both. I didn't want to lead them, but there was no choice. I had nothing left, and they respected me. Probably because I could bring them something: food, leadership, the basics of survival. So, I called myself the Roswell. Maybe it was a cry for power. Or maybe it was just about reclaiming whatever dignity I had left. The Moldovan fox is definitely not going to come on after this episode. The one who promised to take me into the countryside was cold. Survivable, I guess. There was no warmth in him. No real bond, shtick. It was just about getting through another day. And when I asked for payment for the work I was doing, well, that was when I hit rock bottom. I was ejected from the foxhole. My second jacket was taken from me. It was a real low. At that moment, I felt like I had nothing left, nothing to hold on to. So I did what I knew best. My voice. I impersonated the chicken inspector, and I did it seriously, like Shakespeare. I called up farmers, tricking them into handing over chickens. The things I did to survive, we ate them raw. That's what turned me, I think. It wasn't about just surviving anymore. It was about becoming something else. Something savage. The bad foxes respected me, probably because I was their meal ticket. Who knows? All I knew was that I was the one providing for them, even if it was raw chicken and a rough, primal existence. What was $4,000 when I was living in reality? The countryside was nothing, just empty land, no one, silence. But in the Czech countryside, people were starting to whisper about the Roswell. When my kid's saxophone and bootable, Jesus Christ, mentioned me to others, I overheard a rabbit scream, "The Roswell!" I don't know if it was a sign of terror or admiration. It was both, honestly, so I do know. But that whole time, everything about it was a dark mess. Still, there was something there, something I can't quite describe. Maybe it was just the beginning of reclaiming who I was.
Maggie Seal, whatever, 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 whatever.
Indeed. Chapter 3. Rod and Tood would like it Tood. First contact with Springfield. Auditions. Now this is in the right place, right?
Casting director said, would you like to audition for this series called The Simpsons?
All right. Did you know anything about it at the time?
But at that time, it was just like, it was nothing. They were still...
Like whatever.
little shorts. They said they're going to do a long version. I was like, yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah, you weren't very impressed, were you, Maggie? But, you know, it's to be understood. They were pretty crappy on the Tracy Ullman show.
Hey, I could do that. And I was kind of like, okay, because I'd never seen it. I hadn't seen Tracy Ullman and seen The Simpsons on there. So I didn't know what it was. And I kept thinking, well, how did you film in television? Really? I don't know if I need to do that. But
Is that the Sherry Bobbins voice?
It's a bit of Sherry and a bit of Helen, isn't it?
It's English, right? It's a bit posh.
It is a bit
well,
posh.
how did you film in television? Really? I don't know if I need to do that. But as it turns out, it was one of the best things that ever happened.
You're damn right. It was one of the best things that happened to all of us, Maggie.
It was one of the best things that ever happened.
In the history of the universe. And I don't just mean on television, in the history of the universe. I think she'll love this. She'll probably be calling us up to get a cameo appearance on it. Casting director.
The best thing since the Big Bang and until the Big Bang Theory.
But not after the Big Bang Theory.
Used to go
until Young Sheldon. It was the third best thing between the end of the Big Bang Theory and the start of Young Sheldon season 4. Casting director asked her to audition, and at the time it was just shorts, and she said, I can do that. She had never seen Ullman, and she does a haughty-taughty voice saying, I only do film and television. I don't know if I need to do that. And it turned out it was one of the best things that ever happened between the end of the Big Bang Theory and the start of the second half, season 3 of Young Sheldon.
I know it's taped. Yes, she did, and so she wasn't really up for the idea. And I would like to applaud her honesty in this situation. It would be very easy to just be like, oh, I was a super fan of Tracy Ullman, and I couldn't wait to be on the show.
I've got clips of her saying that, but I won't play. She'd be embarrassed if I played it.
She would. She said it. She was too drunk. She won't remember. But
Rob and Todd would remember it too.
Exactly. This brash honesty is a welcome approach to these interviews. She's here and she's ready to talk.
Woof woof.
She has never shied away from biting the hand that fed her, if you will.
Yeah, dropping the C-bombs. I interviewed a fellow this morning on an education podcast. He dropped the C-bomb in the middle of it. That was the first thing on reinventing education. We've dropped the odd one on the podcast, but never in.
Well, I know somebody who's going to be find that very disrespectful.
Yeah. So she got the job. We assume. Indeed. So, Maggie, what happened next after you had kind of basically gone feral with those rabbits and foxes?
Well, when they described me, the rabbits and stuff, wild eyes, grey coat stitched from curtain fabric, voice like 1,000 cartoon moms. The rabbits just screamed at the Roswell and bolted. That's how they knew I'd gone east, deep into the Czech countryside, near a forgotten place named Zim. Life in Zim, it was primal. I made a den out of a collapsed puppet theatre, and I slept under laminated headshots from a touring production of Murder, She Wrote. I foraged. I howled at fax machines left in fields. The locals called me Vici Matka, that was Wolf Mother. Sometimes they'd leave out food, sometimes they'd just lock their doors and pray. I taught the younger foxes how to mimic the sound of a dial tone and do ringtones for people. I wore fingerless gloves made from old Emmy consideration packet. No scripts, no sessions, no human names, just the wind, the pines, the echoes of laughter I once owned.
Is that a chatbot?
It was great. All of those deaths in the zombie thing were chatbot.
Alright.
And Ron Todd wouldn't like it.
They certainly would.
Roddy Todd.
Chapter 4, the voice from Planet Flanders. She's doing the voice.
Anytime a TV series been on 19 years, how do you come up with those voices? I mean...
It's just a strange way to ask that question.
He's a strange guy.
Anytime a TV show has been on for 19 years, how do you come up with the voices? I don't think the first half of that question out. But anyway, Maggie, how do you come up with the voices?
And how do you actually work those Simpson voices?
Well, see,
How do you actually work those Simpsons voices? It's delightful.
It's quite apparent that he's probably seen maybe a handful of episodes.
He's a delightful chap, and they're in a recording studio, like a music recording studio. It's very hard
It seems to me like he's under the impression she's one of like the main three contributors to the show.
He watched like 3 minutes of The Simpsons one day, and that was like Maude was in half of it. So he's like, "Let's get that Maude Flanders woman."
Yes.
The thing is that when I started on The Simpsons, they had already established some of the voices they had on the series.
Right.
When they were doing the little Tracy Ullman bits, which I wasn't on.
What was the first voice they wanted you to do?
Yeah, what was the first voice, do you think?
What, me?
Yeah.
I personally, well, I'll get into this in a second, but I don't think she's correct in her own answer here.
Was Maude Flanders. So
I don't think her first voice was Maude Flanders, was it?
No, because Helen's in season 1 and Kashmir's in season 1. They both speak. So unless they just designed and got all the pieces together for Maude in season 1, then just never used her. But you never know. Maybe that's
possible.
How it worked. Maybe.
That would be interesting to know, wouldn't it? If Maggie had done some, or whether she's just got it wrong.
Who knows? But yeah,
so
it'd be interesting.
Harry was, he was already doing Nettie Flanders, and
I do love how she calls him Nettie Flanders.
Yes, that's why I left this specific one in, that she said Nettie, which is she's in tune with Maude in a way.
Oh yeah, she loves Maude, you can see.
She had a Midwest accent. So then I realized, she was a Christian woman, and she was, she had Tad and Rod, her 2 children. So I really realized that would probably be the best way to go on the.
Yeah, she does the voice, but she's still Maggie, right? Which is very clever.
Yeah, it's sort of a mixture. It's like she's doing the accent, but she's not doing the Maude voice. But she's not pitching it up and stuff. But I've never really associated Ned with the Midwest, which is odd. Like, is it quite an apparent Midwestern accent? Because I've never really. We've always paid attention to Maude's Fargo-y voice, but I didn't know that she based that on Ned's.
I think it's a lighter
voice.
one. So later, maybe I'll skip to it now. There is I think it's in here, yeah. So distinct regional variants, especially the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. So obviously Minnesota, Wisconsin, Dakotas have the Fargo Scandinavian accent, where boat might sound a bit like boot, and overpronounced O sounds. Oh yeah, you betcha. Soft nasal intonation, but then you get more like the Chicago kind of area where it's not quite as strong. So maybe he's from kind of that Illinois kind of area. Maybe she's from up there a little bit. We never really dug into Ned, where he's from. He really played very little part in this whole series.
That's good. That's the attention to detail we needed.
Indeed.
There's no time when we have all this Maudeness.
The accent.
And she was really simple, but I had to create my own character for that.
And the fun thing is that when I was first doing things, there's like things where the animators would kind of look at you and they'd say, I should go, oh, Nettie.
Shrugs his shoulders there, doesn't she?
And my shoulders would go up like this. And then the animators would go, oh, Nettie. So it was so neat to see.
That actually ever happened? Did Maudie's shoulders ever go up and she says, oh, Nettie? Or is that just an example?
I think so. I think this seems like she's probably talking about the golf game episode here, as that is the first time Maude spoke. So I think she's more saying like the first time that she did the voice, they will have sort of adapted things that she did and like expressions and like the shoulders and stuff. But she is quite a shrugger. I'll give her that more.
Made it 10% more Roswell.
Yes, so she specifically had inputs into the characterization of Maude, whether she liked it or not.
Indeed.
Which is great. And I wonder how different of a character she would have been if she had chosen to not do a Midwestern voice. Like if Maudie had been like a Southern belle, etc., or a New Yorker, would she still have done
like the Arthur's Maude?
Exactly. Would she still have done the kind of sweet stuff, like the shoulder shrugs and the kindness, or do you think it comes from this accent?
It's hard to say, but I think Nettie is a Midwesterner because that is kind of like perceived as one of the most cool and like laid back, not cool, but cool, kind of laid back kind of friendly areas, right? So that's Neddie's that, and so Maude deciding not to contrast her as she kind of contrasted Luann out of necessity, right? Because what's his name? Dan Castellaneta stole. He just did Grown Up Millhouse, right?
Exactly, his area.
Is it?
Characters that you help create come through everything and be known and loved by a lot of people.
Yeah, like us, especially you and me, to a slightly lesser degree.
Exactly, but still significantly more than maybe 6 years ago.
Oh, indeed.
And has kind of a flat accent and all of that. And so she's there, the sweetness that comes from Maude. And then the antithesis is playing Helen Lovejoy.
Oh, it's interesting. To what extent did you know that Helen
was a bitch?
Was just the kind of opposite of Maude? Is it just you've read that before? Or did you just work it out by watching all the TV shows of The Simpsons?
No, and weirdly, like it's sort of we've discussed the idea before of them being, but I didn't think it was a direct parallel. Only really for Roswell is it a direct parallel because she does both of their voices. But in terms of storyline and design and like character traits, I never really saw them as being like, they never really pushed the polar opposites thing for them. They're still quite samey in show.
That's true.
But vocally, vocally I can see it, but I do think if Maude had not been killed, that she would have sort of drifted more just for the purpose of like ironic comedy or like, oh look, she's not as nice as you thought. I think Maude would have become a lot more Helen-esque over the years anyway. But I like that that's how Roswell approached it vocally, that she had this, or maybe she's just saying it now because it makes sense. Maybe there was no direct, well, if Maude sounds like this, Helen should sound like this. Maybe it's just afterwards she's realised that, the polar opposite of the sweetness of the Maude voice is the bitterness of the Helen voice.
The bitter complexity of Helen Lovejoy.
To the moon. Things I did like that she said in this, that sort of give you an insight into her thoughts behind Maude, are that she says simple and she says flat. So those are two things in her thought. Like she really went into this doing the opposite of what we did, which was, this is a woman with a very simple life, with a very simple upbringing, who is just nice and wants to get along. And then we have clearly disproven that in 5 years, and that she is a upbringing from sort of like a wacky religious zealot family with a spider-legged grandmother. And she also watched Dr. Hibbert's brother die.
Well, she's had an interesting life as Maude Flanders.
She has. And Ron Todd would like it.
Whatever, and Ron Todd would like it too.
That's right. So she how do you actually work those Simpsons voices? Asked the dude. There's an already. What's that?
After 19 years, how do you do the voice?
And she says they're already established some of the voices on Tracy Ullman, and the first voice she ever did was Maude Flanders with Harry Spinal Tap, who was already doing Neddy Flanders, and she calls him Neddy, which is delightful. He was already doing a Midwestern accent, and she was a Christian woman. She had Tad and Rad, her children. So she was really simple. I had to create my own character. The fun thing was the animators would watch her and make them 10% more Maggie-fied. Their shoulders go up, oh, Neddy, and then they would make Maude do that. So cool to these characters you help create is loved by a lot of people. McDormand's. And you know the sweetness that comes from Maude in the antithesis is Helen Lovejoy. She can just be who she really is. Now, Harry, when she was doing Helen Lovejoy, boo, we don't care about this, but we might as well talk about it. Harry was already very pompous as Timothy Lovejoy, and Helen was like the type of woman you would meet at the club, very haughty-taughty. Well, hello. And she would be lying through her teeth, and that would be really, you would want to shoot somebody. She's the kind of person who would smile in your face and stab you in the back and go, I really don't like you. I want to pop you.
Very, very visceral.
Did we watch the end of that clip? We didn't, did we?
We did not. That's where she stands on Helen, though.
Helen's a bitch.
Just because of the way that she gets to just be, who she really is.
You already had Reverend Lovejoy that Harry Shearer was playing, and he was very pompous. So when I was creating Helen Lovejoy, I figured, what was the type of woman that you would meet at the club? That you would say, well, hello, the kind that would just be lying through their teeth? Yes.
You want to, what does it make you want to do, Maggie?
You look fabulous. That really gross laugh that you just want to shoot somebody, who just is the kind that would
smile in your face and stab you in the back, and you just go, I really don't like you. I want to pop you. And you just go, I really don't like you. I want to pop you. I want to pop you. I really don't like you. I want to pop you.
I want to pop you.
My favorite was
Pop you. I think pop meaning like punch you, not like shoot you. Although she did say a sentence that she wanted to shoot her.
I think she means shoot.
It's a cartoon character, right?
It's quite dark, and it plays into that whole. I can see Maude thinking that, and I can see Roswell thinking that Maude thinks that. And
would Maude think that Roswell would think that Maude would think that?
I don't think so.
Would Rod and Todd think it too?
Rod and Todd would think it too. Yeah, no, it's nice that she's got these levels of. I like where she stands on her own characters, and I also like that they seem to have just given probably all of them free reign to be like she didn't come in. They were like, right, this is Reverend Lovejoy's wife, and this is how we want her to sound. They would just like do a voice. Let's see if we like it.
Do the funny.
Yeah, be funny.
Sherry Bobbins, definitely. I loved it. I loved singing it. It was fantastic, and but.
So she loved the Sherry Bobbins, but it was fun, right? It's one of the first times she got to really do like the song and dance, right?
Yeah, it is also the only episode that they actually went to the bother of changing the end credits and putting starring Maggie Roswell.
Oh.
And that is the only time. Yeah, it's definitely a fun character. It's just strange that she picks her as a favourite, considering she did the voice once in like 30 years. And the other ones she does I thought she would maybe pick Luann, given that she has the most, probably knows the most about Luann, as she has been given the most to do with Luann. But I'm obviously disappointed with her decision.
It's very strange for me to actually imagine her doing anyone else's voice. And I think today, when I was watching these clips, it's probably the very first time I've actually imagined her standing in a studio doing the voice with Harry Shearer next to her doing Ned's voice.
You do kind of forget eventually, she is just Maude. She is not voiced. She is just Maude.
And she's definitely not Helen Lovejoy or Luann Van Booscake.
Whatever. The other fun thing about this that I semi-realised it the other day, now I've fully realised it, is that this gives us a few fun impressions in this video as well. Like, she just did a Reverend Lovejoy voice, and she does a Millhouse voice in a bit.
Oh, so she does, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get an experience of what these characters would have sounded like.
Had she done all the voices?
Done all the voices. There's still every chance. I don't know where they stand with Millhouse now, because Hayden quit, and they've got a voice for Jimbo, and I think they've got a voice for Rod, but there's been no discussions about Millhouse having a voice, and she does a pretty good version, so.
Still says Pamela Hayden's doing it.
Oh, well, it must be right then.
All of the main cast have aged to the point where their voices are noticeably different. You're damn right.
Especially Hibbert.
I want to pop you. My favourite was Sherry Bobbins' Boo. I loved playing it. Isn't she going to be actually Mary Poppins in the 2025 special? It's just coming out.
What?
Isn't there a Simpsons special where they meet up with all the famous Lisa meets up with all the famous Disney female characters?
I think that came out about 5 years ago. I think that came out when they moved to Disney. But perhaps if they did something else, she has played in the episode where the ghost Maude is working with Bart for revenge. Sherry Bobbins is in that episode and is spoken about by Roswell using the voice. And she does even a little bit of a song.
All right. Did she tap dance?
No, but she has. Reprised Bobbins at least once.
All right.
You kind of do forget that Sherry Bobbins died and that Maude wasn't her first killed off character.
Oh, so Sherry Bobbins died before Maude?
Yeah, Sherry Bobbins died at the very end of the Sherry Bobbins episode.
What episode of season is that?
8.
Each character has a little place in my heart, like Miss Hoover. She's just so sad. It's so tragic, her life. And Luann Van Houten, because she's gone through so much with getting divorced and then getting back together and trying to be a good mother.
Millhouse is Bart's friend. Right. Then when
it's a good Millhouse, isn't it? She could definitely have a go. But that Millhouse sounds a lot more like Jimbo Jones.
And trying to be a good mother.
Millhouse is Bart's friend. Right. Then when we're doing Millhouse's mom, I
beg your pardon.
She occasionally, I've just sent you another video that I'd like to wrap things up with. One of the 2 bonus videos from this Roswell cast. And
got a long way to go yet, my friend.
Oh, yes. What was I going to say?
Rod and Todd would like it too.
Indeed. So, yes, that all happened.
Millhouse's dad, but Zazaria got to Millhouse's dad first, and she said, "Oh God, now I'm going to have to do a completely different voice." And now you're doing one of the biggies in the Simpsons movie. Like, he really does think that she's just come back to do the
movie. Yeah, Helen has one line in the Simpsons movie. That is it. Roswell has one line in the movie. And
but did she come back for it? Or like, that wasn't during the period where she was off. That was before, right?
No, it was after. She'd already been back. She'd already been back for like 4 years. I think the movie comes out like it's like season 18 time.
All right.
She came back in like season 14. So it's like this guy is acting as if it's like a grand return, and like, but she probably just did that one line during a stint of recording like 6 episodes from her house in Denver.
Zaria already got the father's line before mine in the script. So he goes, "Hey, Millhouse," and I went, "Oh man, that's what I was going to use." Is for the wife. And so that I did Llewellyn Van Houten. So Llewellyn Van Houten was the one that said, "Oh, I'm divorced. I'm with Pyro. It's great." So, so a lot of...
all of those that I've done, it's just like a little piece of me.
Earning her an Emmy Award nomination.
You do so many voices and have done it for years, but now you're doing one of the biggies, in the Simpson movie.
She just has to go along with it.
She does in the New Zealand guy when he says like a bunch of like slightly off facts, like 5 in a row, and she's just like, that's right. She's at a ball game. She's gone for drinks.
Yeah, the whole thing. He doesn't even know that she wasn't doing the voice at that point. He says something like, "You turn the page in the script and it says Maude dies." That's exactly the opposite of what happened. She died because I wasn't there.
Good Lord. What's that? It's and they started walking. They left before the sun came up that day. They certainly would.
It's just nice and fun to hear talk about the creation of all of the voices. I'm a big Luann fan as well. Luann probably would have been sort of martyfied in the same way as Maude if she had been the one to go. But Maude is a great character from a TV show that we all like, and now she's doing one of the biggies.
Now let's talk about the turning point, Maggie. The moment that Maude died on screen. How did that affect the Roswell?
I'll talk you through it. I was flipping the page in the script and it said Maude was at a ball game. We were in a war den. We were in the war den, deep in the Moldovan woods. Excuse me. The tramp foxes had rigged a broken car battery to a stolen TV, and we were watching reruns. Fuzzy signal that there it was. Maude died, pushed off the bleachers by a t-shirt or 5. New voice, didn't even sound like her. Gone in a blink. Betrayal, heartbreak, pure rage. I went feral. I ripped an Aldi chicken in half. I didn't even cook it. That night, we built a boat out of stolen bikes. Adults were lunch trays. We tied up Pamela Hayes in Millhouse's voice. We found her at England Comic Con.
I'm sorry, where did you find her?
At the England Comic Con. The poor thing thought it was a panel. I ate her mid-Q&A. No regrets.
No regrets, you say?
No regrets.
How you say?
I do say. We marched to Rill. Word was they were building the IMFDB, a shrine to Maude. It was half finished. Bricks from old scout halls and bits of sun-bleached cardboard. Then Commissioner Monkey Ezra showed up to cut the ribbon, praising the project. But the structure buckled. The Roswell charged. She was back. Boxes scattered. Blood was spilt. Amidst the wreckage, I found Ian, Maxton Graham, wounded but breathing. I leaned in, voice low. I'll rebuild your library. No one knew what I meant. Maybe not even me.
Oh well.
It certainly would. For instance, in the most shocking biographic 3, for instance, in the most shocking canonical death in Simpsons history, the show killed off poor Maude Flanders with a t-shirt cannon just because Fox did not want to pay for Maggie Roswell's flights to the recording studio. She was the second death after Bleeding Gums Murphy.
Indeed, she was technically the fourth after Bleeding Gums Murphy, Sherry Bobby and Frank Grimes.
Oh, Grimes was before her, was he?
He was. He was the second after Bleeding Gums Murphy in terms of not one episode characters.
Oh yeah, like recurring they call it, right?
Yes, but again, she was the first really because Bleeding Gums Murphy I think he was only in like 3 episodes prior to this.
If you want to get in touch with Maggie Roswell, you can first of all spell her name right in the link to go to maggieroswell.com for a good time. I copied and pasted this. Is that wrong somewhere on her own website? Can't possibly be, right? That's me. I've done that. But to Maggie Roswell, I typed it in one character at a time. She says, actor, producer, coach, and voice goddess. For a good time, contact Maggie Roswell. And you can go to her website and you can also see bits about where she's been and what she's done, Mock and Mindy, for example. But she's also done 2 one-woman Truman shows. One called Mezzo, I believe, and one called Belter at the back lot of the Gardenia and Passions Palsons in NYC and the Duplex in NYC. Have you seen either Mezzo or Belter?
No, I've seen neither Mezzo or Belter. I did once miss the opportunity to meet her, though. This is a fun story, I believe. Really? I've never told. I say miss the opportunity.
It's never come up before. It's never been relevant before.
No, she did like a panel, but not like a Comic-Con thing, just on her own, talking about doing the voices and all that stuff in like Birmingham.
All right.
And I intended to get tickets, and this was in like maybe 2014 or 15. I intended to get tickets, and then it was just too expensive to go to Birmingham for it. So I ended up not doing it, but that would have been a great time. Now I wish I had.
Oh, I wish you had too. Belter. Like, what could Belter possibly even mean? Does the word Belter mean?
I believe it's English for good, and it seems like she seems to be quite an Anglophile in her the interview clips we've seen. Some of them you may not have seen.
No. It's a reference to singing because mezzo is a musical, and Belter is kind of, I think, someone who sings out loud. Maybe.
I see. That is true. But she does also like England.
She does, but she wouldn't know the word belting or belter.
Probably not. It's probably unlikely. Imagine an English Maude. That would have been great.
Oh, yeah. Who plays her in the English version of The Simpsons?
Someone Renard.
Yeah.
Judi
Dench. She's too posh.
She is, isn't she? What's her face? Julie Hesmond-Holtz.
I'll tell you who. Olivia Colman.
It is if it doesn't suggest Julie Hesmond-Holtz, then it has gone wrong.
They suggest Daisy Haggard, Sally Phillips, Olivia Colman, she's out of our league now, and Claire Skinner.
Ask it for 5 soap stars, and I guarantee the top one will be Julie Hesmond.
Now, what's that Carbuck one? Sally off Coronation Street. Oh, I don't really know. Sonia Fowler off EastEnders.
No.
Rona off Emmerdale. And Leanne Battersby off Coronation Street, and Casey Ainsworth, aka Little Mo, off
not Little Mo. I'll give you Little Mo. I'll give you Little Mo. But my thought was Hayley Cropper.
I don't know who that is.
Hayley Cropper from Coronation Street, everyone's favourite.
Tell it on the mountain.
From the 90s.
I've never watched it.
You know Hayley Cropper.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it to.
They certainly would. So you returned to Hollywood, but not as Maggie Roswell. You came back as the Roswolf. What did you want?
Blood, a contract, answers, maybe closure. I don't know. I was hungry. We arrived by bike boat, dragging rusted spokes and wet fur onto the Walk of Fame and Camel Head, still tied up. Bad Fox 2 collapsed outside Pink's Hot Dogs. I thought he was dead. I tried to eat him. He whispered, "Roz, I don't want to be lunch," and he limped into traffic. I never saw him again. We found a pitch meeting behind smoked glass. Rupert Murdoch and Amazon Jobs were there, sipping tiny cans of espresso and nodding at me, or a version of me. On screen, my face portrayed Maude's death again and again. I don't know what that means. $4,000 or nothing, I snarled. Over the speakerphone, Amazon's secret financier hummed, "One must die." I begged for Helen, Luann, and Hoover. They agreed, but Maude, that one, the Flanders one, she must die in pain. Everyone shrugged. Ian Maxstone Graham tried to protest weekly, as in, like, not once a week, poorly. They handed him a gun and a notepad. "Write it," said Jobs. He did, he wet himself. Then N entered, Doppelzaz, head to toe in black, with 2008 MySpace hair and glass fingernails. At his side, Doppelzaz applied a fake mustache and their glasses mid-stride. "I am the financier," he said. "Zaz is the final boss of the Maude-cast, and I am the bad Zaz." He ripped Ian's script into shreds. He screamed at the confetti, "Make it 10% more brutalized."
I'm the one who knocks, politely.
Thanks, Maggie. That's really cleared up a lot of things.
It's almost like I was there.
Or whatever.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Ron and Todd would like it too.
I bet they would. Chapter 5, Area $4,000, please. Vocal negotiations.
People are so scared to risk that I always want to put risk in a box and give it to some people.
This is a great Roswell quote. People are so scared of risk, I want to put risk in a box and give it to them. Does that mean to take the risk away from herself, or to just give them risk for no good reason at all?
I think for no good reason at all, and demand that they open the box. Did I not call this chapter Risk in a Box? I thought I did.
No, you did not. You should have, though.
People, you get disappointed, and it sucks, and sometimes you cry, but then you go, okay, next job. When you do animation,
Sometimes you cry and then you say next job. I like her attitude.
Yes, she was prepared for risk.
She had it in a little box and she took it out whenever she felt it was getting a little bit boring.
you really get paid one price for 3 voices. But it's that I think is the biggest risk when
you get one price for 3 voices. That doesn't have a valid point. She gets paid per episode regardless of how much she does, though.
It seems that way, and again, I don't really know how this works in the sense that realistically you could argue that Roswell and the rest generally have to manipulate the voices to do sometimes 10, 11 different characters for one episode, and then you've just got Lisa. You've got Yardley Smith sat there earning the same amount of money.
A lot more. They were on 125,000. She was on 2,000. Yardley Smith was just smoking in the corner and doing the crossword and wandered across the room to answer a question nobody asked. I got my maths is not strong, but $250,000, which is £125,000.
Yeah, it's a fair thought to have, really, isn't it? That I'm doing 7 characters here and she's doing 1. Shouldn't we be paid per character?
Isn't it just dead easy to do voices? Isn't it just silly voices?
Apparently, but he says it like it's easy to do voices, and then you're in the biggie.
Negotiating and thinking, okay, is this going to work? If I ask for a raise, is that going to be bad, or am I willing to move on if this doesn't work? You can't kind of half-ask for a raise. You
cannot kind of half-ask for a raise.
Right.
It's a full ass or no ass.
She had to go Roswell's to the wall.
Didn't work though, did it?
No.
You have to actually go for it and be willing to make some choices if that doesn't work.
Yeah, indeed. And you made some choices, Maggie, and we stand by it. And in the end, it all worked out for us. Here is a bushes for us. She sat on, I think, the guy whose name I couldn't remember last week. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Carson.
Johnny Carson sat next to James Woods, the guy who, I believe, turned Jack Derrida into a baby.
Oh, yes. Maybe they were planning it right here, right now.
Like Fatboy Slim.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's a twist.
Yeah.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Ron and Todd would like it too.
This one's best, isn't it? Anyway, they would. Here's a cute picture of an art piece of the Roswell in her quieter times. But Maggie, did you ever feel like reality and fiction were blurring, especially in Hollywood when Rupert Murdoch came after you?
I'm glad you asked, Elena, or whatever your name was. I stepped off the plane like a storm. I stepped off that plane like a storm in a pink and mauve coat. Boots still muddy from Zim. B and Brendan and Brendan and Animate Carbon Todd were waiting, co-owners of the Maude-cast, looking hopeful. I didn't waste a second. $4,000, I snapped. Flight to Denver's in 10 minutes. If I don't have it by then, you're paying for that too. I meant it. They started selling things to strangers. Animate Carbon Todd even sold his shoes. I pocketed the cash and turned. Doppelzaz was back from the bathroom. $4,000, I said again. He gave it to me. He said he had a jet. Private. UK bound. B blinked, not Arthur again. Would you get a jet? Muttered something about brand sponsorship and started trashing Maude again. Always Maude. Suddenly, behind the plane, Rupert Murdoch appeared in full bloodlust. Nunchucks. Eyes wild, thought I was Maude. You're already dead, he screamed. Ian Maxstone Graham ran to help, trying to strangle Murdoch. Got flattened in seconds. Murdoch whistled and summoned his jet like a hawk. I climbed aboard DZS, looked B in the eye. Drop me in Denver. It did. I stepped onto the tarmac, turned. $4,000, I said again, and nobody dared ask why.
That's the truth.
Maggie-Centred, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
It certainly would. Chapter 6, The Day the Maude Stood Still, aka Alone Again, Natra Diddley Roswell.
On the most shocking new Simpsons ever.
Oh my lord!
One of Springfield.
Oh my lord, she's dead. Who could it possibly be, as we cut back to Ned?
Most beloved.
And then see Ned and the boy sat at the front of the funeral, and then see Homer talking to Ned on a swing.
Will die. Who will it be?
Don't beat yourself up.
They killed me?
They killed me. Maggie is incredulous.
Some have died.
Oh, yes, they have. It was very sad. They killed Maude Flanders. They killed her because I moved to Colorado.
She was your star character.
Yes.
They killed her because I moved to Colorado. That's how we all want to go, isn't it?
It is. It's the truth.
Well, a couple of them were, but Maude definitely, because she's the most vulnerable.
More turn the page, and
that's classic, isn't it? Maude is the most vulnerable.
It was very sad. They killed Maude Flanders. They killed her because I moved to Colorado.
She was your star character.
Yes. Well, a couple of them were, but Maude definitely, because she's the most vulnerable.
More turn.
He's most vulnerable. If they wanted to kill, it doesn't make sense that they didn't kill them all, like in a car crash or a plane crash, right? How easy would it have been to get all those investorettes together and just drive them off the edge of a cliff?
It would have been certainly very easy. It's strange again. This to me says that they viewed Maude as Roswell's star character because they just didn't do anything about Helen and Luann for like 4 or 5 years. Kind of like what's going on with Apu now. Apu hasn't spoken for like 8 years.
I didn't notice that. It's true, isn't it?
They haven't addressed it, really.
Why is he not speaking?
It's something about Maggie not getting paid or whatever.
It's almost as if the Simpsons don't want to hire an actual Indian man to do the voice.
It certainly seems that way. But also, yes, the brash confidence that this man is about to display whilst getting all of his facts wrong is very
But they're slightly wrong. I hope someone lost a finger for that.
In the page, and I think Maude is at you're at some ball game or something like that.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
Wrong. Come on, Maggie, tell him.
you've gone to get beverages.
Wrong.
Right.
They fire the cannon, the T-shirt. Who even knew in New Zealand there were T-shirt cannons?
Wrong. T-shirt cannons come from New Zealand.
They fire the cannon, and you're dead. Maude, who was an absolute star,
in our hearts, yes, was an absolute star. So
because you left, they had to kill her.
They had to kill me.
Shit.
That wasn't me.
Because you left, they had to kill her. But Maggie, it was you when you turned the page, wasn't it?
Me that was killed.
What?
They had.
Was an absolute star.
What's that?
It wasn't you. I like the way this man talks about Maude.
Because you left, they had to kill her.
They had to kill me.
Shit.
That wasn't
Did
me.
he say shit?
That's what I thought. I think he might say shoot. But
Shit.
That wasn't me that was killed. They had someone replacing me at that time.
But they were no good.
And they, yes.
So
and
they had to.
They were no good. They were no good. But she agrees. MMG is just like watching with tears in her eyes, eating hobnobs by herself.
It does seem I've cut quite a few of them out of this, actually. I think it must show up somewhere, but she did it in our video. But if she has a chance to shit on MMG, she will take it. I've noticed.
But the thing is that people will say,
she will frequently say that the voice that came on to replace her was not good enough.
and which is true, but she doesn't even name her right. She'll pretend she doesn't know who it was.
Yeah.
Kill the character.
They had to kill me.
And I didn't even know they were going to kill her. A friend of mine called and said, well, did you hear what happened? And they said, no, they said they killed you.
Here's the question. At what point do you think she did find it? Because obviously, like, the room was full of her friends, right? And so as soon as that table read happened...
The room was full of her colleagues.
We don't have to be friends. We don't have to like each other. We just have to work together. I don't recall saying friend. But do you think... like one of the table read people like immediately phoned her and was like, you know what's happening, right?
No, I feel like they're probably all quite I don't think they all are friends in the sense that they all just like The Simpsons is kind of, other than the main five, kind of a side gig.
Not really, Hayden's her buddy, surely.
Possibly. Well, she did eat her, so maybe not. You'd think that somebody on show maybe would have said, but also if she's left at this point and it's ended fairly sourly, why would she need to know?
Yeah, it ended sourly with the negotiator people, I'm sure. Hayden and Cohen, they were probably like, good on you, Maggie.
Yeah, I imagine they were all very pro Roswell.
Or cash for us.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did give her a call, and maybe Azaria gave her a call and told her in the Apu voice.
They said, they killed me? You gotta be kidding me. I said, isn't that a little drastic? I mean, it was pretty intense. But
No, which was really kind of sad. And they said, actually, when they did it, and they were at the table read, people didn't realize until they turned the page and they go, and then Maude Flanders died. And everybody went,
Everybody went, see, she must have known. Someone at the table read must have told her.
Yeah, that seems more accurate. That seems like information she would find out upon returning.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not true, though. People just say that, right?
Indeed. I can see it being true, considering it's not something they do regularly.
I don't think a group of grown men and women sitting around that table were gasping when it was like, oh, Maude Flanders fell off the thing. There's like, oh my God, she's dead.
I think I think probably some people had to leave for the day. I think MMG probably gasped.
Yeah, she probably did. She was probably handed her like last paycheck as that was stapled to that page.
Wait, if they kept her on as Hoover and Helen for like 2 years as well, but they only had like 2 lines over 2 years. I was just under the impression this happened. Like one of her friends saw the episode on television and then called her to tell her. I didn't think of it being a preemptive call. So maybe you're right. Maybe it was one of the cast that.
It would be strange, wouldn't it? That like it was clear that Maude Flanders was going to die. It would be strange if they waited till after the show had been on to tell her. But I guess maybe she missed it. Yeah, these Hollywood types, they're busy, right?
Exactly.
and it would just stop dead in the room.
Especially the poor woman that got your job and couldn't do it properly.
Oh, well, I guess that's no.
Couldn't do it properly.
Good for me. All right, I guess I'm dead.
They had
He's mocking MMG right there.
That voice was her Maude voice, which is nice. That's it. The closest we get to Maude reflecting on her own death, really.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's no job for me.
I guess that's no good for me. All right, I guess I'm dead.
They had, they had on the epitaph behind, everybody's person, all of these different things that they...
Is that true?
I don't know what it means. I don't know where she's referring to.
The
I don't know if she means
behind everybody's person.
The epitaph behind what, though? Like, because that never appears in show. And are they saying that they had, like, a real world memorial?
What does everybody's person even mean?
Yeah, but, like, within the studio, like, building, they had an epitaph that said Maude Flanders, everybody's person on it.
Well, you do dream that there's, like, a board with the graves on it, right? Just to make sure no one accidentally...
draws them in. Which they did twice anyway. Everybody's. I wonder if she's mixing things up with the Praiseland thing. That's the closest straw I can grasp.
What is the Praiseland? Joy of Shame, yeah. Shame of Joy, yeah.
Everybody's person.
The epitaph behind, everybody's person, all of these different things that they wrote on the gravestones when I died.
And they said on Entertainment Tonight that
This is good. This is a bombshell.
I could no longer do the show because I was too tired to fly from my home in Denver.
See, they did not know that.
All my characters.
Was that you who gasped? No, was that them?
Everybody's person, all of these different things that they wrote on the gravestones when I died.
And they said on Entertainment Tonight that I could no longer do the show because I was too tired to fly from my home in Denver.
See, they did not know that.
All my characters for 3 years.
That's not true, is it? She was just too tired, too worn out to fly from Denver.
No, that's the scathing celebrity media. It's probably Perez Hilton or one of those who said it. One of those evil media accounts trying to break her down. But she, in a way, it's probably true, but it's logistical. It's not that it's not in a sort of privileged version of tired. It's you're making this woman fly across state lines on her own money to do your TV show.
How long does it take to fly from Denver to LA? It's probably 30 minutes or something like that. Have we looked at this before?
We probably have, but I can't remember. But you've also got to incorporate.
Oh, it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and then you've got to be at the airport 90 minutes early.
Oh yeah,
and then we're talking the years. Oh no, maybe it was pre 9/11 actually, so it was probably quite quick to get through airports. But there's a time where it was very specifically difficult and time consuming to go through airports, which probably added 3 hours onto that.
We're seen but not heard.
We'll be back after these words from my sponsor.
Damn right.
Yes, that's what we were going to do. That's where we were originally going to do the sponsor. I would like to show you a bonus video though, because it can come anywhere.
Let's do it.
And it's just a little compilation of Roswell. She has a spiel that she does.
An hour and a half of Roswell's vest.
Yes.
Give us a little taste of somebody, Maude, maybe.
Maude Flanders was the next door neighbor, a woman with Tad and Rad, her 2 Christian children.
And Maude Flanders was the next door neighbor. And Maude Flanders, and they killed me because I moved to Colorado.
Well, I do Maude Flanders. Now, they killed Maude because I moved to Colorado. Maude Flanders, who died. Or Maude Flanders, who was married to Nettie and has Tad and Rad, the 2 Christian children.
And Maude Flanders.
Play Helen Lovejoy, Reverend Lovejoy's
Hey, that was you.
wife,
It was
the
you and
gospel
I.
wife of the minister.
Reverend Lovejoy's wife, the gospel wife of the minister. Reverend Lovejoy's wife, the gospel wife of the minister.
Reverend Lovejoy's wife, the gospel wife of the minister. Reverend Lovejoy's wife, the gospel wife of the minister. Reverend Lovejoy's wife, the gospel wife of the minister.
Helen Lovejoy, Reverend Lovejoy's wife.
Hoover, who's Lisa's teacher, the one with Lyme disease.
Lisa's teacher, the one with Lyme disease. Who's Lisa's teacher?
Lisa's teacher. Lisa's teacher. Who's, got Lyme disease.
Who's Lisa's teacher?
Dolph Richard or Bart's friends.
Dolph Richard or Bart's friends. Dolph Richard or Bart's friends.
Dolph Richard or Bart's friends. Dolph Richard or Bart's friends.
Dolph Richard or Bart's friends.
Mrs. Cashmere's real name is Shauna Tifton.
Real name is Shauna Tifton. Real name is Shauna Tifton.
Real name is Shauna Tifton. Real name is Shauna Tifton.
Real name is Shauna Tifton.
And the head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010.
The head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010. The head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010.
The head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010. The head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010.
The head of Kitty Carlisle at Match Game 2010.
All the old women, the old folks home with Grandpa.
All the old women, the old folks home with Grandpa. All the old women, the old folks home with Grandpa.
All the old women, the old folks home with Grandpa. All the old women and the old folks home with Grandpa. And Sherry Bobbins.
And Sherry Bobbins. Take off from Mary Poppins.
Was a take off from Mary Poppins. Take off from Mary Poppins.
Take off from Mary Poppins.
As well as Llewellyn Van Houten, Millhouse's mother. Millhouse's mother.
Millhouse's mother.
Millhouse's mother.
Millhouse's mother.
And the mail person delivers all their mail.
Mail person delivers all their mail. Mail person delivers all their mail.
Mail person delivers all their mail. Mail person delivers all their mail.
Mail person delivers all their mail.
What was the mail thing?
That's the one that we couldn't work out. I think it's mail person who delivers all their mail.
Is that even a part of the show?
I like about this. She obviously has this spiel to just reel off to fans or in interview, press interviews and stuff to quickly go through her characters. But other than 4 of them, they're all one-line characters, I think. She definitely doesn't do the voice of Dolph and Richard, who are Bart's friends.
Who's Richard?
Richard is way more likely. It's just the voice of Richard is just one of the kids in the class with grey hair.
I know.
Maggie's here, whatever, and Rod and Todd would like it too.
The thing about the head of Kitty Carlisle, I don't know what that means. And she also doesn't voice all the old women and the old folks.
No.
I'll give it. I like it. I like that she's got this thing that she can just rattle off. And as you saw in that clip, even we were privy to that.
We were very privy.
So
Costco hearing check.
We can be in our own content and it still be related to Maude Flanders is quite impressive.
Indeed, which very little of the rest of it is. Would you agree that she was the most vulnerable character that Roswell played?
Yes, I know that we have this. We know that she's internally not very vulnerable, etc., and she can look after herself. But from Roswell's point of view, yes, Maude is definitely, and from the audience's point of view, even including us, Maude out of her characters is clearly the sweetest, clearly the nicest, even if she has a little moment.
Yeah.
Luan has been morally uncouth several times. Helen's a bitch. The other one's like a titty bar worker.
I think Luan is maybe the most vulnerable, really, though. The one who's suffered the most.
Maybe, but Luan is also a bit meaner than Maude.
So.
Luan is still a bit more sort of petty and irritating.
Why do you think they killed Maude out of all of them?
I think it's because the voice actress they had to quit. She asked for more money or something.
She was too tired to fly from Colorado.
I think we've gone over this several times before, but I think Maude, even outside of the characters that Roswell voices, Maude was still probably a pretty prime candidate, specifically because of how Ned, Rod, and Todd would be able to think positively about it.
Ironically.
Like the rest of them, if they killed off like Nelson's mum, that's just sad because he doesn't think she's gone anywhere. Except for if they had killed off Luan. Yeah, Milhouse isn't particularly a heavenly. Like it just made sense for Ron. It would. I reckon as soon as they had the idea, they thought, well, we can't not do this.
We can't not
do
this.
It makes perfect sense.
And Rod and Todd would not like it too.
Maybe I'll put these images in here, but I started creating images, and the only two sort of close to similar were Brandine and Bernice Hibbert that I can really think of where it wouldn't be too sad because you don't know that much about Cletus or Dr. Hibbert, and they have kids, but they're not even named really.
Not human kids.
Yeah, not individuals like Ron and Todd.
Like it too.
So I think it just, once they had the idea, they couldn't not do it because it was a big thing. It's a big stunt as well, isn't it?
Beg your pardon.
It's good for them. A huge stunt. Cunning stunt.
I very much beg your pardon. Well, we'll be right back after these nuts from our sponsors.
Cold night in LA, flannel suit shadows, a voice lost in static, Helen to the bone. Pink coat glitching on a lifetime screen. They handed her a bus passage just to screen. Awards on the walls, but the lobby's ice. And turns turn to ghosts, no pity in their eyes. $4,000 an episode will kill you instead. So she hitchhiked to France with a fox airhead. Je ne suis pas Maude, the wine bottles hissed. Maude then dirt on a stolen Emmy fist. Chicken bones clatter, the rabbit screams run. She howled back, I'm no one's hired gun. Oh, Roswell fries, teeth sharp as a sieve. From Colorado cold to a pride puppet crib. They erased her name, but the wild don't forget. She's Helen's cry, Maude's ghost, and the fox's silhouette. Sims Woods hummed with fax machine hymns. Laminated headshots littered denizens. Volchimatka they prayed, left meat on the stones. While Murdoch's jet snarled chasing spectral clones. April House mid-Q&A raw and divine. Real shrine collapsed as her claws drew the line. I'll rebuild your library, she growled to the sky. Empty pockets of ringtones, but boom tunes don't lie. Clinton Satchwell, hookers laughed in the flames. Denver's my rhythm, she hissed, renaming names. Marcia skated in bins, IMG's cash turned dust. Yukon igloos whispered, in chaos we trust. B. Arthur's ghost sips wine, rolled her eyes. Honey, your lifetime's punchline, now get the prize. A Roswell prize, bones wrapped in pink thread. From Fox's note to a warden's blood red. They'll ever last laugh as the credits ascend. A chicken bone, Emmy, and a wolf's the end.
That's solo. So Maggie, you've been through quite a lot. You've been through quite the ride, from the moment on that plane when the pilot was accidentally killed by Murdoch to your interaction with Clinton and the hookers. What's been going through your mind during all this chaos?
Oh, you mean the parts where everything was spinning and exploding and people were getting blown to bits? That was just another Tuesday. Honestly, I've learned that you'll never really know what's coming next, but you better be ready to roll with it, Liam Gallagher. It's not about what's happening, it's about how you handle it, and I'm always handling it in my way. Look, I'm not going to pretend it was about the money. Sure, it was a nice chunk of change, $4,000 please, but it was the principle of the thing. Shindy gave me that for Roswell insurance. And let's just say, I like to make sure everything is in place before the world goes up in flames. Can't say I've ever been one to leave things undone, but once I had took what I needed, I wasn't going to stick around for the fireworks. I'm not the one who's going to explode, right?
Then there's that moment with Murdoch and the plane wreckage. You were calm while everything around you was just crumbling. Was that just another day for you?
You betcha. I mean, Murdoch didn't stand a chance. I made my exit and boom, his plane meets my fate, just like that. It's all about timing. That's what people forget. When everything's falling apart, you don't panic, you wait. Murdoch's always so dramatic, and I'm not a fan of drama, I'm a fan of shtick. You know what I mean? When things go up in flames, you don't get burned unless you step into the fire, unless you're already in it. And I wasn't stepping into anything that wasn't going to work for me.
Oh, and what about Clinton, eh?
Oh, Bill's always been a little out there, hasn't he? High as a kite, sacks in hand and surrounded by hookers. That's his business, not mine. But I was curious about the sacks, to be honest. It felt symbolic, like he's trying to play his way out of trouble. But I know how that game goes. You can only keep playing the same tune for so long before it starts to sound like noise. And me? I'm in the mood for something a little more melodic, something that doesn't come with so many strings attached. There's no shame in doing what you need to do to get where you're going, and if that means a little detour to Colorado in the back of a limo with Clinton and his interesting crowd hookers, then so be it. Life's too short to not enjoy the ride.
Speaking of Colorado, you seem pretty set on getting home despite all the madness. Why Denver?
That is my home. Why not Denver? It is home, isn't it? You know, after all the planes, the chaos, and the ridiculousness. Sometimes you just need to go back to where you started. I've got my rhythm, and Denver's where it all clicks for me. I think we all need to place a reset. Denver's mine. We might have to wrap it up soonish, if that is okay.
Oh yeah, I think we've only got about an hour left.
A lot.
Shall we call it there then for today?
Aye, if you like. I've just got some. I want to ring the garage about my bonnet.
I beg your pardon. Lots of fun. Alrighty, the end.
To be continued.
And her children, Saxophone and Bootaboo. Jesus Christ.
It's 7:06. Do you know where your wind chimes are?
Welcome back to Dial-A-Deal. I'm Mike Mason. The phone lines are open. It is a beautiful day. If you're looking to buy, sell, give away, or offer your services, give us a call now at 519-376-1818. That's 376-1818. And we go to the phone lines now. I understand we've got a young gentleman on the phone with us. Sir, what is your name?
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou. Do I have that right? Mary Lou.
Yep.
And Mary Lou, how old are you?
5.5 years old.
Wow. One of the youngest Dial-A-Dealers we've had yet. Now, Mary Lou, I understand you're wanting to sell your bicycle. Is that correct?
Yep, it's true.
What can you tell us about your bicycle?
All red, there's a little cap on the side, and there's a superhero with a dog on the side, and it's super goofy. What's it called again? Alright, the black stuff around the wheel is actually the goofy part because it's on both of the wheels.
Well, there's quite a lot you've told us there, Mary Lou. So if I understood correctly, it's a red bicycle? Is that correct?
Yep.
And did you mention superheroes?
Just one on a little cap on the side.
On a little cat. Which superhero is it? Is it the Flash?
No, it's a new superhero that I haven't heard about.
A brand new cutting edge superhero on Mary Lou's red bicycle. Then you said it has black tires. Did you say they are goofy black tires?
Yep.
Like Goofy from Disney?
No. It's just goofy, the meaning that it's funny.
Now, Mary Lou, do you know the price that you're looking for here for this bicycle? How much do you want for this?
108 euros.
What? Wow. Sounds like a little businessman here on the phone. 180 euros for Mary Lou's red bicycle. Now, Mary Lou, do you know your phone number, or do we need to talk to an adult to get that if someone wanted to get in touch with you?
I don't remember it, but wait one sec. I'll disconnect and ask my mom. Wait 1 second.
Oh, I think I heard it hang up. Mary Lou, are you still there? Yeah. Oh. Mary Lou, are you still there? Oh no. I think the charming little businessman accidentally hung up on us. So, Mary Lou's mom or dad, if you're listening, give us a call back here at the station, 519-376-1818. I think we're going to have some charmed listeners wanting to get in touch with Mary Lou for that red superhero bicycle that he was discussing. Mary Lou, if you can hear us now, give us a shout back at the station. We'd love to help someone connect with you and that bicycle. All right, well, we shall hope that we hear from Mary Lou's family again. Until we do, never too early to think about Christmas. Some deals on some early tinsel-covered Christmas trees in just a moment when we return on Dial-A-Deal.
It's 7:06. Do you know where your wind chimes are?
Brilliant. That brings us to chapter 7. Do you, Ros, leave in the life after and what's next for Roswell?
For 10 years and said, nope, I want to do this. And they're like, nope, we don't need you that badly. What did you do over those 2 years?
Yeah, what did you do after 10 years of them not needing you badly, Maggie? Wake up, Maggie. Think I'm asking you a question.
And I remember when I moved to Colorado, which is where we live now.
So we moved here 18 years ago to raise our daughter.
We had to reinvent. So we did ringtones.
Reinventing ringtone
for phones, which had never been done before.
Never. Maggie Roswell invented ringtones.
Ringtones for phones. Please, Maggie, tell us more.
We also have a new business where we're selling ringtones called Baboon.
What's it called?
Tunes.
What?
Baboon tunes. Baboon tunes.
What's it called?
Which had never been done before.
We also have a new business where we're selling.
Yeah, I know, but what's it called?
Ringtones called Baboon tunes.
What?
Baboon tunes.
Baboon tunes?
But for years, we sold a bunch of those.
Okay, let me show you right here how it works.
Please do.
And Teresa, why don't you give me a call?
555.
Are you trying to sell them to us right now, Maggie?
I'd like to, and I have actually been on baboontones.com and it does not exist anymore.
Oh.
No, that's me.
Hey, lady, your cell phone's ringing.
That's very, very Jimbo Jones-esque.
Yes, it is. It is, but it's also very not distinguishable. She hasn't used that voice. They don't seem to. She says this thing about doing the voices of Dolph and Richard Bart's friends, but they don't let her really have a crack at the kids, and she seems to be quite good at doing the kid voice. So
she does indeed. She might be queuing up for Yardley.
Exactly. Maggie will fix it. We'll fix it all.
Oh, okay.
A whole bunch of ones. We have Dysfunction Junction, and which is for the dysfunctional people.
For the families mostly, I get at best, Maggie, right?
Family things, but I think it's really fun.
Indeed,
whole
Nana.
bunch of ones. We have Dysfunction Junction, and which is for the dysfunctional people, family things. But I think
That's
it's
for
really
most of
fun.
my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what is that called?
It's called Baboon Tunes. It's
And how-
baboontunes.com.
What's it called again? Sorry.
What's it called?
What's
I
it
just need to
called?
nip downstairs. Nana's just asked me to nip downstairs.
Go for
My
it.
family.
I can definitely play this for like the next 2 minutes.
Yes, right.
Now, what is that called?
What
It's
is it
called Baboon
called? I'm sorry. Say it again.
Oh, okay.
This is really
A whole
actually.
bunch of ones. We have Dysfunction Junction,
I bet that's for the family, right?
and which is for the dysfunctional people,
Probably family members.
family things. But I
Yeah,
think
mine too.
it's really
most of my
fun.
family.
Yes, right.
But what's it called, Maggie? This business you've got that sells ringtones.
What is that called?
It's called
It's called what?
Baboon Tunes. It's
I'm sorry. Say that again.
baboontunes.com.
Ah,
And it gives comedy ringtones.
Comedy ringtones.
comedy ringtones, Maggie. What's it called again? Sorry.
Yes, right.
Now, what is that called?
It's called Baboon Tunes. It's
What's that? Sorry. Say that again, if you don't mind.
functional people, family things. But I think
That's
it's
for
really
most of
fun.
my family.
Yes, right.
Now, what is that called?
It's
Oh,
called
Baboon Tunes. She's told us like 16 times.
Baboon Tunes. It's
And how-
baboontunes.com.
Baboontunes.com. Not net. Baboontunes.net. Heaven forbid.
And it gives comedy ringtones.
Comedy ringtones. So
Oh, that's
Oh, good lord. Comedy ringtones.
you
gotta
hear
be
somebody's
fascinating.
voice.
I gotta hear those.
You got to hear that.
I
Definitely.
gotta hear that.
That'd be
I'm
good.
gonna go to your website
Okay.
and check that out.
And I also negotiated one of the first contracts with Stars Encore.
Stars Encore. What's that, Maggie?
My husband Hal Rail and I do the Stars Encore. We're the voices of Stars Encore.
What's Stars Encore? Don't even know what that is.
I was doing a lot of what we call the money voice, which
I beg your pardon.
is that voice that you hear that's smooth as silk, and there's a thing that can sell anything.
Yeah, I get you. But it's a good one, that.
My husband Hal had been on the SAG board, and he at
Screen Actors Guild, right?
that time and said, well, what are we going to do about sampling? And they went, well, what can you do with 15 seconds? And then you hear Dan Castellaneta as Homer going, why I oughta,
Yeah, you can do a lot with 15 seconds of sampling.
I mean, there's a lot they can do with sampling in 15 seconds.
Absolutely. To be honest, Maggie, I share your concerns 15 years ago about sampling.
Here's a parody version can blend the ending absurds with cheap bathroom humor in oblique reference to Elton John's fame. Flam, yes, toilet-related mission done in play spirit and intended as goodbye, yellow brick bladder. Though I never flushed you well, you had the grace to leave the seat up while the piano gasped and fell. You crawled out of the restroom with rhinestones on your and every plot was harmony in porcelain boutiques. And it seems to me you lived your life like Elton in the John. A glittered flush, a mirrored brush, and trousers halfway gone. I would have liked to know you, but your plumber sealed the drain. Your fame went down in Technicolor with a Georgian hydrogel. Bound in Las Vegas, a sequin silent prayer. The bidet played Tiny Dancer while you hovered in the air. They whispered through the keyhole, he's dropping rocket men. But no one dared to interrupt that sacred porcelain den. And it seems to me you lived your life like Elton in the John. A candle-scented citrus burst that lit up every car. I would have liked to hold your hand, he's dropped while on the seat. You sang of love, but wiped with glove that sacred porcelain den. From peacock roads to toilet thrones, the show must ever go. Through Vegas fog and scented ball, you gave us quite like the show. And it seems to me you lived your life like Elton in flush the showbiz roots with spandex oddly drawn. Though legends fade in marble stalls, your echo still remains in echoey halls of restroom calls and golden toilet chains. Let me know if you want a version that's even weirder, raunchier, or more PG friendly.
Baboon tunes.
Indeed.
Baboon
Apologies.
tunes.
I knocked my screen and the screen went off. I had to restart the laptop.
And the
What
baby-
is baboon?
And the baby smiled at me. Baboon tunes. But first,
Ringtone.
how about an hour or two of groggily? Yes, please.
Exactly. Sponsor is back.
Hooray.
This is a new way of doing things, kind of.
A soft, hard reboot.
Indeed. A grog boot, if you will.
I will.
170 sponsors, 13 seasons, 3 all-stars, whatever the Squid Game one was, that zombie thing in Lee. And it all led to here?
The Maude cast official sponsor race presents. Tournament of All Stars, you total slags.
Hello, hello, hello. It is I, Roger Lee Poncho, and I am back again until Nathan asks Rob or Beef or Natalie, etc. to take over. If maybe it's time to give those guys a break. Who knows? Only time will tell. Anyways, as the modcast seems to be wrapping its shite up, it seems only fitting that we also wrap up sponsor race, even though I said that the All-Stars, All-Winners finale would be the last ever one. All groggilies lead to here. We have invited 18 iconic sponsors back to compete for, yes, the crown and scepter provided by Fierce Burns Jewels. But also this time around, losing may also prove to be the new winning. More on that later. Joining me tonight are regular judges Robert Yagat and Angel Savior, the Destroyer of Worlds. And please welcome special guest judge, Sarah Michelle Geller. Now let's take a quick look at all 18 sponsors. Please welcome back to the race, Carlton Fresh Prince, Elka Gaynor, The Vixen, Vince Vaughn, Abby from Ablisa, Bradley Walsh, The Jippin, Euros Childs, 120 for Girl, Sam and Pink Beard Man, Katie Football Rambo, Nuggets, Sadie Scottish Loompa, Muriel Goldman, Luan Eddowes, Temporary Member Ashley, Randy Jackson Base, The Crichton Leprechaun. Wow, phenomenal stuff. Okay, this is how this wheel gonna spin. The 18 sponsors are split into 3 brackets of 6. Each bracket of 6 will participate in 3 challenges. Following each challenge, both Brendan and Nathan O'Leary, hosts of the modcast and also former sponsor race competitors themselves, will award Flanders Ficus pins out. The top sponsors of the challenge will receive 2 Ficus pins each. Then Brendan and Nathan may also award the singular Ficus pins to 2 of the other sponsors. At the end of each 3-sponsor bracket, the 2 sponsors with the most Ficus pins will move forward to a grand finale unlike anything you've ever seen before, except the other 3 are for sponsor race grand finales. If you've seen those, then it will be like something you've seen before. With all that exposition out of the way, let's reintroduce bracket 1.
Welcome to the stage, bracket number 1. Up first, Brooklyn's finest.
Woody Carlton Fresh Prince.
I know I'm beautiful, I don't need anyone to tell me. And amazing. I am a little bit of Harajuku and a little bit of hood. Up next, from the Golden State.
Here, El Kaganaraka, the pooper.
You know, Michelle, she's known for her curveballs.
Oh, I've heard.
Deja vu, bitch, I'm back. 60 pounds lighter, but same great flavor. I'm a narcissist. I love watching myself back. Yeah! She's a Seattle swinger.
The Vixen. People know me for being like a sci-fi fantasy queen and being unafraid to tell people what I think. I'm opinionated.
I have something that I'd like to get off my chest.
That is me.
Representing Atlanta.
Vince Vaughn, the Republican.
You may remember me from season Old Testament. I think then I was so overwhelmed with being on TV and taking direction. I'm so excited this opportunity is here.
From the Empire State.
Abby from Ablisa from X Factor. She punched her in the face.
The diva is in the room. I repeat, the diva is in the room. I'm a queen of many talents. The proof is in the tapioca. Sing and dance and act. And obviously, it's her face. Our Seattle sis.
Bradley Walsh.
Ding, 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 the gloves are off, and I'm ready to play. I've decided that my new title is God's Favorite Transsexual. Am I allowed to say that? I'm gonna say it. God's Favorite Transsexual.
Wow, 6 phenomenal sponsors in their own rights. Their first challenge is to write and perform a verse to a sponsor race classic, Viva Viva La Bafana Pappy Boy remix. Let's take a look. Good luck and do not judge Homer and Marge, that is for a vengeful God to do.
Yeah, that one from X Factor. Deck my mate, live chaos, I'm the actor. Cheryl's shocked, but I don't do fake. She can't believe I launched her on the fires. I came to win, no friends to crack, just heads to break. Said no offense, and then swung first. Reality TV at its most unrehearsed. Who am I? I thought you knew, and like Lisa asked Imbruglia. Bitch, who are you? I'm bright as love, the chase ringmaster. Quizzes quiver, but I banter faster. Doctor Who, Law and Order, I've done the lot. Still found time for a chart-topping bar. Like Graham, I'm your charming disaster. Fanny Schmillock calls and I break the script. A TV kingpin with a dad joke grip. From daytime telly to stage prestige. My inner Danny Baldwin, I unleash. Let me find out Andy Notte. Con le scarpe tutte rotte. Poi Nando's, vestito alla romana. Viva, viva la Befana. The vixen, no Jenny Pearson slick. I'm back with a tube that's sharp and quick. Chasers fear me, my wealth has grown. Catch me outside, Bolton Market shoes on. Quick like a fox, get wrecked, pick a click. I'll school them a song in Oxford wit. Cat eye glare and I never quit. In the sky of sponsors, I'm the brightest star. And if this was France, I'd be Lorena. All that shit in hell, it's okay again if it's a surprise. My trousers are down and it's time to fertilize. Catalan legend, cheeky and free. Nativity scenes, it's always me. Shitting for luck with pride in my eyes. A sacred squatter with a rustic grin. Cracked in clay where tales begin. I hear these queens backstage with their mumbles and their growls. But frankly, I'm the one who makes them evacuate their bowels. La Befana viene di notte. Con le scarpe tutte rotte. Poi Nando's, vestito alla romana. Viva, viva la Befana. From swingers cool to a Republican slate. Waiting crash, I turn policy geek. But still the smooth talker every week. I talk, I charm, I dominate, that's fate. From baby or soul money to big debate. I improv scenes and legislate. Made frat bros weep and critics cheer. VV talks the most and still they hear abortions for some miniature American flags for others. I'm Carlton Banks, you know the vibe. No one alive can match my jive. I brought the dance, I brought the style. Fresh Prince fame and 1,000-mile smile. You can't touch this no matter the tribe. Tom Jones hits and sweater vest. America's funniest, I host the best. I'm out to bat and I'm swinging the big gun. This isn't like the time. I cancel the gig and weekend. La Befana viene di notte. Con le scarpe tutte rotte. Poi Nando's, vestito alla romana. Viva, viva la Befana. Nando's.
You thought it was over. Well, it's fucking not. Time for the runways. Also, you get to give a ficus pin thing to your fave runway to because runway drag matters in this sponsor competition. Here to narrate is the disembodied slag head of bodiless total slag cot Slater.
Categories: slits and tits. First up, Abby from Ablisa.
Giving you the Pokemon Jinx as styled by Elsa Scaparelli. Bitch, I feel like a rich alien.
Those are what I call some purple nurples.
Up next, Bradley Walsh. I am radiant in this pink motocross jacket. This hair is psychotic. My boobs, very expensive.
Up next, the Vixen.
My inspiration for this look is romantic renaissance. I am owning this runway. The tits are titting, baby 10s across the board.
This year's Miss Golden Globes. Up next, Vince Vaughan, the Republican.
Lil Kim has entered the building, y'all. And that tit goes all the way down to the slit, baby.
Up next, Elle Kagana.
I've got this high feather trimmed slit, and for my tits, well, they're green.
If you're an alien, why don't you show us your anus?
And last but not least, freshest, Carlton Fresh Prince.
I'm feeling like I'm ready to beat someone's ass with a whip. It's right.
Oh, look, she had twins.
Lovely stuff, you total slags.
Thanks, disembodied slag. It's time now to hand out some ficus pins. Nathan, under the guise of Angel Savior, the Destroyer of Worlds. Who are the top sponsors of the week?
I can't remember who I picked Bradley Walsh, and I also picked Elka Gaynor.
Contracts, you two. You both receives to ficus pins. Now, which the sponsors would you like to award one pin each to?
Abby and Carlton.
Fantastic choice.
Abby and Carlton.
And finally, who would you like to award your ficus runway pin to? Great stuff.
Abby. I didn't say it yet.
Sorry.
Abby.
Great stuff. Brendan, you may choose now, or take the song lyrics and have another watch and decide at the beginning of the next episode.
No, I'll choose now.
Okay then.
Oh, the Piper Boys Vandals remix. I would definitely like. The Gagner can have 2. Vince Vaughn 2. And I would like to give one out to Vixen.
Aye.
Carlton Fresh Prince 1.
Nice.
Sponsor Rest After Dark.
And finally, who would you like to award your ficus runway pin to?
Carlton Fresh Prince 1.
Okay then. That about wraps this buy-it up, doesn't it? Cod's head.
It does groggily, you total slag. Take us away, Pantsy boy, to the moon. He's not doing it.
You have to really give the volume button a good crank, Cod.
I don't have hands. I don't have a body. You desi fucker. I'll just sing it. To-to-to-T-O-T-H-E mo. I would like to take you away. You've fixed it.
To the moon, to the moon, ooh. I would like to take you away. Mucho thanko.
What was the name of what was the skylight? What was the skylight?
Just getting a phone call. Can you hear my ringtone?
Yeah, what is it?
It's from something called, I can't remember. It was like Ape Music or something like that.
Oh, is it Baboon Tunes?
Called Baboon Tunes.
Yes.
What? Sorry, what was it?
That's it.
What is it called?
So, have a new business where we're selling ringtones called Baboon Tunes. Which
Oh, what? What's it called?
Never been done before.
we also have a new business where we're selling ringtones called Baboon Tunes.
Baboon Tunes.
Baboon Tunes.
But for
What?
years, we
it
sold
called?
a bunch of those.
Okay, let me show you right here how it works.
How does it work,
Teresa,
Maggie?
why don't you give me a call? No, that's me.
Oh, okay.
A whole bunch of ones. We have
Okay.
Dysfunction Junction, and which is for the dysfunctional people, family things. But I
Like
think
my
it's really
family.
fun.
My family.
Yes,
Like my family. Now, what is that called?
It's called Baboon Tunes. It's baboontunes.com.
And it gives comedy ringtones.
Comedy ringtones. So
Oh, that's
you
got
hear
to be
somebody's
fascinating.
voice.
I got to hear those.
You got to hear that.
I got to
Definitely.
hear that.
That'd be
I'm
good.
going to go to your website and check that out.
And I also negotiated one of the first contracts with Stars Encore.
My husband,
Who?
Hal Rail, and I do the Stars Encore. We're the voices of Stars Encore.
So I was doing a lot of what we call the money voice, which is that voice that you hear that's smooth as silk. And there's a thing that can sell anything. My husband, Hal, had been on the SAG board, and he, at that time, had said, well, what are we going to do about sampling? And they went, well, what can you do with 15
What can you do with
seconds?
13 seconds?
And then you hear Dan Kelly
There's nothing you can do with 13 seconds, Maggie. You're just overreacting again.
time and said, well, what are we going to do about sampling? And they went, well, what can you do with 15 seconds?
Exactly. Thanks.
And then you hear
Nothing.
Dan Castaneda as Homer going, why I oughta,
That's like it's like Dan was in the room, wasn't it? But I get you, Maggie.
Homer Simpson's most famous catchphrase, "Why I oughta."
Why I oughta. I just I don't know if you've ever been
right.
to baboontunes.com, but it
Baboontunes.com, heute gab's Comedy Ringtones. I gotta hear that next. Baboontunes.com, heute gab's Comedy Ringtones. I gotta hear that next. Baboontunes.com, heute gab's Comedy Ringtones. I gotta hear that.
Baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboontunes.com, oink golf comedy ringtones. I got a hair that baboontunes.com, oink golf comedy ringtones. I got a hair that baboon tunes, baboon tunes,
What's it called again?
Thanks very much, Mary.
I mean, there's a lot they can do with sampling in 15 seconds.
I know, I get you, Maggie. It's tough.
What's Homer Simpson's famous catchphrase again?
Why, I order. Why, you come here, you little rascal. Something like that, right?
Is it something like "Stop it, Lisa"?
Why, I order.
Update on the season 36 finale.
Yeah?
No more.
No more. Mordless, I repeat. So we just watched Chapter 7, Do You Ross Leave in Life After Fland? The show reference. Long blonde. After 10 years, we said we don't need you that much. Oh, what did you do over those 2 years? Oh, I remember when we moved to Colorado. We moved to Colorado 18 years ago to raise our daughter, who may or may not be called Saxophone Jasmine Boogaloo. We decided to reinvent phone education, and we did ringtones, which had never been done before. And
what website?
Well, we were selling them.
Baboons, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes. Baboontunes.com with all this comedy ringtones. I gotta hear that. Nesbaz, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes. Baboontunes.com with all this comedy ringtones. I gotta hear that. That's baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes. Baboon tunes, baboons, baboontunes.com with golf comedy ringtones. I gotta hear that. Boom tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes.
What is it called again?
Also,
anyway, go on.
Didn't we change the format up where we pretended we were asking her the questions and she did the answers?
Yeah, we just did it.
What? I don't remember her answering the question. What was the website called?
I don't remember what she said the website was called. It's very hard to remember.
Baboontunes.com, White Girls Comedy Ringtones.com. I gotta hear that mess. Baboon tunes, baboon, come here, lady tunes. Baboontunes.com, White Girls Comedy Ringtones. I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.com. Come here, lady, baboon tunes. Baboontunes.com, White Girls Comedy Ringtones. I gotta hear that. Baboon tunes. Baboon tunes.
That's what it was called. It was called something about monkeys.
Oh, yes.
But if you go to... So they moved to Colorado for 18 years. For 2 years.
Yes, they moved there for 18 years for 2 years.
To raise their daughter, Saxophone, who was aged up in 2 Earth years to become a fully aged 18-year-old Boogaloo, which had never been done before.
Which had never been done before. I believe that I'm not really sure, because the issue was that they lived in Denver, Colorado already, and that was causing the issue.
Yeah, so she moved there, right? And that's what set up the conditions for this problem. And after a little while, she was sick of the shit of having to pay to fly back to LA. And she merely suggested, probably very strongly, that she was going to quit if they didn't give her like some more money, $4,000. And so they said, "We'll just murder one of your characters."
Yes, that is what happened, isn't it? I mistakenly thought she was saying that they moved to Colorado following her exit. But she is saying that for 2 years she did this, basically.
For 18 years, for 2 years.
Yes, for 18 whole 2 years. She, on her own dime, went to... Which is a big ask. I, with my work, would not go to another building for free. If they required me to drive somewhere, I would expect them to pay for that.
How much is it costing? How much do you think it costs? She said
Before
it didn't even cover the flight, the extra $2,000. But they reckon here on Google AI that you can get there for a couple of $100.
Yes, even in the 90s. I don't know if flights were cheaper or more expensive. I don't know how.
Let's ask the internet.
I don't know the financial situation of
between $200 and $500.
That's crazy.
Doesn't make any sense, Maggie. You could have even slept on Yardley's floor while she went in for 20 minutes to do the Lisa lines.
Well, I wonder just how frustrating it was. I wonder if it was like episode, considering she's in almost every episode of season 8. I wonder if instead of getting her to do like 10 at a time, were they just ringing her every week? Like,
No, you do it all in one go, right?
Not the entire season. You would only record. I imagine
looking for $4,000 per episode, right? So she for the season, what's that, 20? So she was looking for like $80,000.
Yes, which is nothing for them.
It's less than half of one of Hank. Oh, there you go again, boy. Azaria.
Exactly.
Hank Homer Simpson Azaria.
Precisely. That boy is not right.
That boy needs therapy. So here's Maggie Roswell's LinkedIn. Cast member for 36 years on The Simpsons. Vice president and creative director at Roswell and Rail.
Rail being the name of Ian Maxwell Graham in real life.
Yeah, the real Rail. But yeah, her Hal Rail. Decades of experience. I'm not a LinkedIn with Maggie on LinkedIn. I thought that would be too much. An audio R&R award-winning studio, Roswell and Rail, global entertainment company, 30 years, an Emmy as cast member and an individual Emmy. She was Helen Lovejoy. She was Maude Flanders. She was Mr. Hoover. She was Sherry Bobbins. She was Luann Vandolph Richard. She was Mr. Hibbert. She was Barbara Bush. And she also received an Emmy nominations for Sherry Bobbins. Now, she was also, I don't know if you know this, she was actually vice president to this very day of a company called, you won't believe this, I gotta go to that website. It's called Baboon Tunes.
Like my family.
I got a hut at. Ooh, Baboon Tunes, Baboon Tunes, Baboon Tunes. BaboonTunes.com or those comedy ringtones.com. I gotta hear that. Next best. Baboon Tunes, Baboon Tunes, Baboon, come here, Lady Tunes.
Come here, Lady Tunes. So she's been that for 21 years in 10 Moss. And she's also vice president and creative goddess at Roswell and Rail Inc. for 38 years.
The timeline itself is very Simpsons-y, yeah. Which I enjoy. Like 30 years on The Simpsons, but 36 years on The Simpsons, but also you've got to take like 3 seasons out of that, so 33 really.
Really?
I find it hard to believe. I please prove me wrong, Mrs. Roswell, but do people still buy ringtones phones?
I don't know what Baboon Tunes writes now, but it does.
What is that?
It does sound effects, alerts, and messaging for the cellular community at large.
Hopefully she's they've continued with the world's technology and not stuck
Well, now they're probably iPhone 26, and they're probably like holographic TikToks.
Indeed.
I gotta hear that. Baboon Tunes, BaboonTunes.com, boy, girls. Comedy ringtones. Comedy ringtones were of the old days. She has worked for Simpsons such as The Clients such as The Simpsons, Bill Maher, The Lincoln Project, and Seymour Butts.
Exactly. That was a good roundup. You should definitely link with Maggie Roswell in.
For years, we sold a bunch of those. Let me show you how it works. Give me a call. The phone rings. Ha ha ha. Hey, lady, your phone's ringing. Not quite Millhouse. Bunch of them. How we have dysfunctional junction for the dysfunctional people. Now, that's like my family. Ha ha. Now, what's it called?
What is it called?
ComedyRingtones.com. I gotta hear that. The ComedyRingtones.com. I gotta hear that. Yes, Baboon, come here, Lady Tunes. Baboon.
Baboon tunes.
Here's what I like about Roswell at her time at The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Because there's a few of them. I've just been thinking in my head about them.
Yeah.
Castellaneta, Nancy Cartwright a little bit, Azaria Shearer and Tress MacNeille, and Roswell are the ones that sort of did other things as well as The Simpsons.
The ones at the
Didn't
bottom?
Exactly. They didn't just do the voices for that one particular show. Whereas like Yardley Smith, Kavanagh, they were cashing in
Shearer.
checks.
Did Shearer ever do anything else?
Yes. He was in a music band from Better Call Saul.
They've got a new movie out.
Have they?
Yeah.
They call Spinal Tap Toot.
Spinal Tap Toot. The end continues or something like that. They're funny, actually, the Spinal Tappers. I like them a lot.
Oh, yes. I'm a big fan. Having never seen it.
Jesus, you're joking.
A huge fan. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually... I've been
These-
saving it for
These
like
go up
15
to
years.
11. Have you ever heard that when people say these go to 11?
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with a lot of the quote.
Lick my love pump.
Precisely. And I have seen them on The Simpsons that time. And I've seen him in Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is Mr. Burns, I think.
One of them is Mr. Burns. Anyway,
but-
stop talking about them. What did Harry Shearer do?
He was in Spinal Tap.
Baboontunes.com took too long to respond. That is the story of its life.
Indeed. But yeah, Roswell seems like an entrepreneur's, if you will.
I think so.
She's always putting risk in a box. She's never boxless, if you will.
But to put a thing in a box means to constrain it, not in the sense of how she would gift it to people.
Yeah, she throws these boxes of risk at people on a daily basis. But yeah, I like that. There's a little voiceover community. Her husband is also a voiceover man.
Oh, really?
I believe he was the voice of Raphael in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh my goodness,
And many other things.
Many. What's his name? Hal Rail, right?
Yeah, the Rail.
He's done a lot of Scooby-Doo.
Probably. He's probably met Frickett.
Yeah, that's the through line in all of this is Scooby-Doo. You got Flim Flam, you got Hal Rail, Scatman John.
I've just guessed that he's in Scooby-Doo. Roswell was in Scooby-Doo.
Of course he's in Scooby-Doo.
Roswell was in an episode.
In episode 6. Hal Rail.
Heard it.
It's interesting that the same Scooby-Doo DVD is advertised for both of them. He was in Transformers the movie Predator 2 as the Predator. He was in Caravan of Courage.
He played the voice of the Predator, and they did not credit him for that.
Transformers
he's not
TV
a
special.
chatter, is he? Not a big talker. The animated story of Anne Frank.
Well, you know. Cop Doctor's Attorney at Law. That's a joke, right?
CIA Moms.
That's one of hers, right?
This seems like the Fartbot Ninja Princess Network. Did you ask Chatbot for this list and make it look like it was on IMDb?
Sheffy and Mr. Sheffy goes to Washington. Sheffy and talking floor mat.
What's the one above it?
Sheffy and Mr. Chef goes to Washington.
And the one above that.
Sheffy and Meet the Brand Chefs.
And then the
Brand
Brand Chef
Chefs.
Secretary Chopper.
Billy the Fainting Goat.
This is ridiculous. Those
Slagger-Con 12. The new Batman Adventures, Toxic Crusaders, 101 Dalmatians, the series.
He was in Rotten Ralph, and he was also in Not So Rotten Ralph.
Both sides of the Ralph coin. He was in a pup named Scooby-Doo for 13 episodes.
Do you know what they didn't ever bother to do?
What?
Let him be in The Simpsons.
Do you not reckon he was ever in The Simpsons?
I know he wasn't.
He was probably in the movie. No, he's married to that woman, though.
He is Baboon Tunes lady.
And it sells comedy ringtone. She genuinely interested us seeking a way to milk a few minutes from this interview. I got to hear that on your website. Check that out. He never went. I checked the traffic stats.
Well, I tried to, with the clips provided, I tried to paint a little story in this part of her. One of the clips is from now, discussing the past, like what they did with the blonde lady. She's talking about what they did when they moved back and Baboon Tunes, etc. Whilst in the great interview with the heavy-set man, she is actively plugging it. That is her I imagine her her sole focus of that interview was to plug, because she got one line in the Simpsons movie and they're making plenty of money. So she went in there with her own goals. He didn't go in there to talk about the Simpsons. He just did not know that at that point. And then
Before you know it, you're 20 minutes into a discussion on Baboon Tunes.
Yeah, they probably said to her at the start of the interview, we'll cover these Simpsons questions and we'll give you a bit of time at the end to plug whatever you're doing. Sort of like Hot Ones. or any interview really with
Any
the
interview.
celebrities.
And she's like,
and she took
enough
she took
about the
15 minutes
Simpsons.
of it. She just did that. She just rostered off that list that she does for us all, and then she was like, "No, let's talk about ringtones."
Let's talk about that hotel option.
Baboon tunes, I hear that. Baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon.com. Oikos comedy ringtones.com. I gotta hear that. There's baboon tunes, baboon come here, lady tunes. Baboons, lady tunes, baboon come here, lady tunes. Baboontunes.com, I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.com, what goes comedy ringtones, I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.com, come here, lady, it goes comedy ringtones, I gotta hear that. I gotta hear that.
That's actually the best one. That's probably what it actually sounded like.
Baboontunes, 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 baboon.com, baboontunes, baboontunes.com. I gotta hear that. Ghost comedy ringtones, I gotta hear that. In tunes, baboon come here, lady on tunes.com. Go.
Excellent. Use that Wayback Machine.
Oh yeah, the Internet Archive.
That'll probably. Although we should probably move on from Back Machine and talk about Maggie Roswell for at least
Maggie Roswell.
More than a 30-second span each time. I do like that she does seem like a hustler. She seems like she's always. How can Maggie use this situation to benefit Maggie in the best way, but not in a heartless way, in a
artful way.
She just wants the best for her Roswell life, and she is happy to cram that risk in a box and take it.
He just wants what's best for all of us, and it's to have comedy. Come here, lady. Oh, you little rascal.
Exactly.
Baboon tunes. Anyway,
taboo through college.
So Maggie, here we go. It's text only. It's HTML. It's no good. But you could have. Here we go. So baboon tunes, ooh, baboontunes.com. So Maggie, your family finally found you, or tried to. So what happened when they finally tracked down the Roswell?
They found me. They phoned me. Jasmine, Egworth, saxophone, Butterboo.
Jesus Christ.
Even Ian. They tracked me through La Renard, followed some paper trail, and found me holed up in a crumbling Moldovan hotel. Ian had me locked in there, like some rehab case. He brought a robe, real plush. He whispered my old name, Roswell. Tried to get through to me with pictures, memories, stories, ringtones. But I didn't feel anything. No, I wasn't interested. Not in that life. I was already gone. The Foxes, they came for me. First as a vacuum salesman, then as Jehovah's Witch Nye. It was brilliant. When I saw them, I felt it. The pull. I turned on my family. Didn't even recognize them. Just saw threats. I set the Foxes loose. Jasmine screamed. Ian cried. Bootaboo legged it.
Jesus Christ.
Saxophone cried. I left with my pack, and we found a back alley cat. We ate it raw. It was everything. Gruesome, triumphant, absurd. I didn't care. Later, the kids tried again. They searched the countryside, asking animals if they'd seen me. When they described me, one rabbit froze. They screamed, "The Roswell," and ran. That was the last trace. By the time they reached the outskirts of Zim in the Czech Wilds, I was long gone.
I gotta hear that. Comedy ringtones, I gotta hear that. Tunes.com, what goes comedy ringtones, I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.com, I gotta hear that.
Yeah, crazy times, wasn't it? And so then a secret hidden part called A New Maude, where you tried to hide it from me, the title, but it didn't work because I caught it and I screenshotted it in a second, and I realized it said A New Maude. Also negotiated.
I believe what happened there was I had the Rodcast saved for like ages, and then I changed it all to make it make more sense. And then I decided that every chapter should be an alien parody title because of Roswell. so chatbot did me like 10, and then I forgot to take a brief snap of. That's going to make it great to go back and find pictures and stuff that I need. Thank you.
Baboon Tunes.
Hear that? That's baboontunes.com with ghost comedy rings.
So we found the Baboon Tune website here on the Wayback Machine. Free wallpapers and fun stuff. Free Baboon Tunes FX.
Do you FNX?
Yes, we FNX. All say fart, let's go. Does that work?
All say fart, let's go.
I'll say fart, let's go is the top one. I could be male. It could be male or female, but you've got some. Sarah Palin. There's a lot of Sarah Palin in here. Do you remember her from the 90s? Advice from Grandpa Tourette. A lot of this is not politically correct, Maggie.
No, we will be coming, unbeknownst to you, in about 5 minutes or so. We'll be returning to the world of Sarah Palin.
Very good.
I still do have a bonus Roswell clip to send you.
Very good. Where the American Dream, I can see Russia from my house. He did used to say that kind of stuff. Johnny the homeless guy, bite her, etc. So
Johnny the homeless guy, bite her.
Yeah. Maggie's blog.
Command.
It is a command. iTunes ringtone albums. Maggie's blog. Oh my goodness. Can you believe we just literally found Maggie Roswell's blog 900 episodes in? So if you've got on the iPhone, you go to baboonstunes.com. Voila. Brilliant. Comedy chatter from the urban jungle.
Treasure indeed.
Here we go. Top albums.
Have we found it? Yes.
I think this Baboon Tunes album is hidden. Espanol greatest comedy. Baboon Tunes greatest Espanol comedy. Brilliant. Maggie's blog. Oh come on, Maggie.
Lovely stuff.
She didn't get right. She just didn't get around to putting anything on it. Oh well. Maybe next time.
It's no diary entry.
Oh God, no. So anyway, Stars Encore is a premium television channel owned by Stars Entertainment Corps. And we did a lot of the voices for the Stars Encore. I was doing a lot of what we call the money voice, which is that voice you hear which is smooth as silk, almost be Arthur-ish, I say, and it can sell you anything. My husband was with the SAG, which means the Screen Actors Guild board. What shall we do about sampling? She said like an hour ago. What can you do with 15 seconds? Then you hear Dan Castellaneta from The Simpsons saying, "Why I order." There's a lot they can do with 15 seconds.
She is right. There is, and I'm glad that they realised that and changed their mind to this is the thing. They're not tapped out. They are tapped in to what's going on. So at the time, ringtones, and then now it's just cellular stuff or whatever. And this example as well is another example of them adapting to the times. That's it.
Adapting to the times.
It's quite surprising. The voice that she does there, it's quite surprising that is not a Simpsons character voice. I could see that as that would have also worked for Luann quite well.
Oh
that
yeah.
Voice of the silky smooth voice.
I think so.
Going to the moon! Going to the moon! Going to the moon! I'm going to the moon!
That's right. We certainly are.
Mucho thanko.
Mucho thanko.
I like that she left The Simpsons and then did not. She didn't sit and wallow in defeat. They immediately were like, well, what can we do in this? I like the whole thing of... I don't know if she's just embellishing a story and whether they were the first ones, but this Stars Encore thing to negotiate a contract with a network as opposed to a show is a good idea. And I know they do. I know networks sometimes hire actors, don't they, to do that? Like, NBC will hire an actor and then, guarantee they'll be in 5 projects.
Oh yeah, I wondered whether she just meant they were doing the voiceovers.
Well, yeah, but I like that they might have. They were clearly doing the voiceovers, but I think that she learned from her Simpsons issues and immediately went in there with a terms and conditions contract, and they agreed to it. And I like that she learned her lesson.
Did you know that Maggie Alzo was on an episode of the Four Finger Discount?
Yeah, I think I've listened to it.
Yeah, I think I have too.
So that's not a good sign that neither of us remember.
No.
I think if we tried 15% harder, she'd probably come on this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's right for her, to be honest.
No, I like what we got from her. I like the clip that we have.
I gotta hear that boom tunes, the boom tunes. Boom, come here, lady.
We have nothing on this show for Maggie.
No, but I know who would like it too.
Got it, Ood and Tood. So Roswell, anyway, enough of this. So Roswell, or should I say Marsha Mitzman-Gaveman, what actually happened to you when IMG handed you the $4,000? You swooned, but then you mentioned something about Maggie and the shift to Marsha. Ha ha ha. What was even going on there?
Ha ha ha. All that. Yes, it was a whole thing. IMG handed me the money, and suddenly I wasn't Roswell anymore. I apparently regenerated, which was an idea that I talked about yesterday.
I'm afraid my double brainstem froze.
Lethal. Voice actress.
But I've got my own knack for survival. I suppose I should think of some famous last words. How about...
Helen's a bitch.
Oh, Mustry, how inelegant. Oh, I'm ever so sorry, ma'am.
Well, they never taught me that at National School.
We've bi-generated, evidently.
But how did you... You're both the same person?
Unfortunately, yes. Our name is...
of Maude Flanders.
Although she's become a...
Voice of Maude Flanders.
While I'm the...
Voice of Maude Flanders.
The definite article, so to speak. Now, have you got the...
$4,000, please?
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Then come with me.
Well...
Out of the way, boys. Because I have a date to arrange. And as for...
Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, I will bring him absolute terror. That's what I said. Shut up. Yes, ma'am.
I just became Marsha Mitzman-Gaveman. Who knows? It was like a switch flipped. I didn't even think about it. I just moved from one identity to the next. It was like, this is a revelation. It was like I was who I needed to be in that moment. Marsha took over, and everyone just went with it. No questions. No one even noticed the shift except for the audience and people with working ears. And the bin mansion on roller skates. Skating Gaven, they called it. People saw me rolling up on it, and I could tell that they didn't need to know what to make of it. This is definitely better than the Fluffinger discount interview. But for me, it was exactly what I needed. It wasn't chaos, it was freedom. Skating around in my bin mansion, living my truth. No boundaries, no limits. IMG, who, by the way, I'm at this point, I am now in a relationship with after the firing, and he gave me $4,000 of his own money, and that sealed the deal. And then we started planning weddings and cruises, going on a cruise every day with wine. That was our life, endless possibility. Then there was animate Carbon Todd, my secret son, the girl who we adopted after he turned from a Carbon Todd into a human Todd when in Springfield, and then came back as a human Todd. The government and Murdoch paid $4,000 a day for his care. It wasn't weird to me. It was just a part of my world. We made it work with YWR, ODB's Corps, and YCLLL. Weird, sure, but family? Absolutely. DZ? Well, he was always a mess, punching goats and causing chaos. But it fit in with our game. We were all playing the same one, whether we liked it or not.
That's right. That's right. And that takes us to Chapter 8, St. Maud. She's back.
I do also have a bonus clip of Roswell. Would you like it now or after this chapter?
After, of course.
Of course. What was it called?
She's back.
I thought it was Baboon Tunes.
Baboon, come here, lady tunes. Baboontunes.com, I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.com, what goes comedy ringtones. I gotta hear that. Baboontunes.
Back on the 12th year. So because it was
So then she came back on the 12th year of The Simpsons. Wrong, Maggie.
like money issues, but then we kind of hammered that all out.
Came back
Hammered it all out.
on the 13th. Long story.
But when I
Wrong on 13th. Wrong, long story. It was the 13th, wasn't it?
No, it was the 14th.
Really?
quit, they
It
said,
was the-
well, you know,
She only actually, in fact, she came back as a guest on the 14th in that Treehouse of Horror, and then she came back, I think, properly either that year or the year after. So it was either the 14th or the 15th.
13th. Long story.
but when I quit, they said, well, you know, we tried to find people that could, you know, do your voices, and your voices were really hard to match.
We tried to find someone who could do your voices, and the voices were really hard to match.
.com, come here, lady, it goes.
Put in a bit like a big section here of you just getting her to say all this stuff on that with that that AI voice?
Yes, it is. I, the Roswell bot, certified on official audio. All of the above is true. I generated an MG, became a Fox 8 Raw Chickens Exa.
Well, I was just going to mention that AI voice because it's dangerously good. And the only unusual thing about it, and it's obviously they've taken it from a specific interview clip.
Yeah.
But no matter what you put into it, she will say booze before anything else.
Isn't the most strange thing the fact that Maggie Roswell has an AI voice?
Let's ask the audience, which is less likely. A Maggie Roswell text-to-speech audio function or 7,000 episode of a podcast that claims to be about Maude Flanders, but is actively not.
Because she's not that well known.
Initially, I would say yes, but upon further inspection of this website, no. I typed in RuPaul in an effort to jazz up Sponsor Race.
Yeah.
And RuPaul is not on there, but like 40 sort of assorted random drag race competitors are on there.
So basically anyone that's not sued them, Maggie just hasn't seen it yet.
I said, as if only I could do them. You would have wanted to pay me for... no, never mind. And now the technology has gotten such that we can do it here in our recording studio. But at the time, it was so outrageous to move.
So many people are remote now that I think even the show, all the producers and everything are working from their houses.
Oh, I didn't think that was so much fun, right? I'm sure it's quite practical, but and maybe they don't have to do that much for The Simpsons these days. I mean, how long do you think it takes them to like record the entire season?
Probably maybe a couple. I imagine it takes the likes of Maggie and Tress and the sort of guest voices or the recurring voices, if you will. They probably hammer it out in like 2 days, depending on how much direction is needed or how much involvement. Like there was that Luan episode last season.
Oh yeah,
where you probably got more direction than usual for that. Whereas normally, I imagine they trust a lot of them to, like, if they give her some Helen lines, they know that she knows what they want from that. I imagine it. I think I said this about the guest stars. The guest stars work. The guest stars on The Simpsons work now. In a very similar way to our cast, where they'll probably just do stuff over WhatsApp. A lot of they can just message like Megan Mullally and say, will you do this in your Sarah voice?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
So I think, so it's, she does, and considering, it's very modern-y COVID, procedural, I can't think of the word, but she was doing it when it was outrageous, and then it sort of became completely normal, considering the sort of type of, completely normal to the point where they were almost like, why weren't we doing this for the last 15 years? Because the technology has been, they could have been doing this since like 2004, 2005 quite easily.
But there's a lot of change, really, and I imagine there's a lot of behind the scenes change, like she's talking about the Screen Actors Guild and the sampling. So I imagine, actually, they were probably fighting against people recording at home. And even though, technically, I imagine, especially with someone like her, but she didn't have the studio when they moved there, I don't think, right? So she might not.
They probably set that up.
Yeah, they probably set it up, and then she was like, you know what, it'd be great if I didn't have to go there. And so, I don't think we've heard Fox's side of this story.
No, we haven't really. I should confront Max Graham about it on Instagram.
Yeah. That clip where Norm Macdonald floored Ian Max Graham in a single punch.
Exactly.
So many people working from home.
Yes, she is correct. You're right, Maggie. People are working from home now. And trendsetter. And I like the confidence of these decisions that she's made that seemed outrageous at a certain time, but clearly she was onto something.
Oh, yeah.
So ever since COVID, everything has kind of exploded and no one has to be in the studio. But for me, usually they will have...
Your bloody nose alone, Maggie.
If I'm doing it, I can do it with the studio. We'll hook up with a studio at Fox. And then usually they'll have 2 producers online as well, and then the director, and then so you've got like 4 or 5 people who'll have their producers we love, because probably that is Maude Flanders is definitely in my heart.
But episode
where But then sometimes you'll have the producer say, hey, why don't you try it like this or whatever.
Whatever.
I seem to bring her back in a lot of, like the Christmas episode where
Was that in
they're
that
bringing
video?
her in flashbacks, which I really love because probably that's mostly from the director. But then sometimes you'll have the producer say, hey, why don't you try it like this or whatever.
Whatever.
I seem to bring her back in a lot of, like the Christmas episode where they're bringing her in flashbacks, which I really love because probably Maude Flanders is definitely in my heart.
But, and I keep thinking, you know, you have so many of these shows where somebody comes out of the shower or all of a sudden wakes up and goes, wow, that was a bad dream, that they can't just have her come back. But they go, it was so kill.
So it was
so kill. It was so kill.
It was very. They did go above and beyond to make it extremely permanent,
but not enough that it was like comedy, like with Mole Man, right? So it's like, yeah,
gruesome.
Whatever.
But they still could. Like, they could quite easily do that. Like we've discussed in the past. Oh, I landed on a big mattress, lost my mind, forgot who I was, and like floated in the river, and I've been living in Shelbyville for 30 years. But I've just seen you, and all my memories have come back.
Come on, just do it. For God's sake, Fox, Disney, just stop messing with us and just do it.
Break my heart, my achy breaky
Baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, oh, baboon tunes.
So anyway, Maggie, so Marsha took over and everything worked out for you?
Well, not exactly. I'd lost my mind again, and when I woke, MMG was not me. She'd somehow split from my body. She was a totally different person now, married to my husband, Ian, and I had somehow ended up in the Yukon, living in an igloo with Zave, Dan, and Snow Fox, who were all foxes. So there I was in the middle of nowhere, Yukon, Canada to be specific. I built an igloo. It wasn't I can see Russia from here. That's Alaska. It wasn't a mansion, Katya can see you from her house, but made of bins, but it worked. It was quiet. Xavier, Dan, and Snow Fox were there, and we just sort of lived off the land. But there was always this thing missing, $4,000. I didn't have it anymore. Everything just felt empty. I didn't know what to do with myself. Oh, it was a total shift, wasn't it? IMG. He finally realised that I wasn't the same Roswell he fell for. I wasn't the wolf he loved anymore. Too much skating, too much madness. He saw it and it hit him hard. He couldn't keep up with the new me, so he left. I don't blame him. It's hard to keep up with the new me, all the chaos I create. And then MMG and IMG showed up in Yukon, Canada, offering the $4,000 as a peace offering. It felt like a twisted joke, but at the same time, it was like they were trying to make amends for everything that had happened. I didn't know what to think, but I took the money. What else could I do? And instinctively, possibly, instantly something changed. I had this moment of clarity, like I needed to make my way back to California, IA. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about finding out who I was again. It's about Stamp. The bad foxes need to get to California, and it was time. The bad foxes needed to get to California, and it was time. And Ramtard would like to. But it was still a long road ahead. I produced the Fox headquarters. I approached the Fox headquarters. Groaning, hearing the commotion, came out, guns dangling. I asked him, "Who am I?" He smiled that strange smile and handed me $4,000 from his crusty toenails. For my journey, my trouble, everything. Then he asked, can I have my job back? I couldn't process it at first. I don't know if he was doing a bit. Sure, he said to himself, and then handed me another $400 for my trouble. It wasn't the $4,000, but in that moment, it felt like a step towards something that finally made sense. I couldn't believe it. I was back. I was taking it as he was. I just decided that's what he was asking me. He was asking me to come back. Roswell was back. The bad foxes were going to California, and who knows what's next.
We got not a lot of Maggie art. Most of the Maggie art involves her pictures of her standing over
a bowl of peanuts.
But here is some Maggie voices that you can get. If you want an animation demo, this is what it sounds like.
Fortuna Esperanza Navarro Prescott. You get back inside this minute. A train is no place for a proper young lady to go.
100 years ago.
What do you got behind your back, Cricket? A paintball gun? Well. I'm sure you wouldn't want your father to find out about this.
Very cod. Big hearts and big smarts. That's why I married your baby.
That's very nice, Maggie.
I think I have I imagine I have the talents of a sniffer dog for Roswell's voice. Like, I think I could hear that voice in any show, doing any voice. In fact, I'm confident I could, because I remember I was playing the game Spyro with actually bloomin, and one of the minor dragons spoke, and I just said, "That's Milhouse," and it didn't sound like Milhouse, and I was correct.
Who does Milhouse?
Hayden did Milhouse, and now some woman called Kelly.
Here's what Maggie sounds like on commercials.
You never realize how much you miss the simple things, like blow drying your own hair. My shoulder was so bad I couldn't even hold shopping bags. Enough was enough. After having both knees replaced at Noreen's parallel parking, oil. After having both knees replaced, enough. After having both knees replaced, enough. After having both knees replaced, to be fearless is not a gift. It's not a given.
Risk in a box.
Risk in a box. But having both knees replaced is where I draw the line.
That is 100% going to be used as some form of that's how she survived that mattress. That's how she survived the fall.
Oh yeah.
Not the bad.
All right, children, it's an air raid. Get onto your desks and cover your head. Good.
Strike now, Darkling Lords. Darkstorm. Our arrangement, in case you have forgotten, is that I get the power staff.
Hello.
Open the door, Maude.
Oh, I'm panicking, Nettie. I can't work the knob.
Phone call, Mrs. Simpson. Line.
Can't work the knob.
Phone call, Mrs.
Work the knob. Work the knob. Work the work the knob.
Phone call, Mrs. Simpson. Lines 1 and 2.
Hello, children, and welcome to Springfield Gorge.
Panicking, Nettie. Panicking, Nettie. Panicking, Nettie. Panicking, Nettie. I can't work the knob. I can't work the knob. Oh, I'm panicking, Nettie. I can't work the knob. Panicking, Nettie. I can't work the knob. Can't work the knob.
Phone call, Mrs. Simpson. Lines 1 and 2.
I'm Helen Lovejoy, the gossipy wife of the minister. Well, I had just finished eating.
It's not an DuPage hospital. In the Central DuPage Hospital, having both knees replaced at Northwestern Medicine's.
The knob.
Phone call, Mrs.
Work the knob. Can't work knob.
Phone call, Mrs.
Come here, Lady Tunes. BootTunes.com. I gotta hear that.
Sound. Use it to unlock the doors to the theater of the mind. Because after all, the mind is truly the last frontier. A month on pay-per-view.
So, what can you do?
Don't settle for 1/4.
Let's see, just a bump.
Don't. Super. Then I'll play the part of the strict nanny. The doctor said he could even get them. All right, children, it's an air raid.
Brilliant. She's like a voiceover queen. What else has she done?
In that note, you should play the bonus video now, because it is relevant.
Okay.
Let's keep on this. Not that one, but this is that web. This is the AI one. But if you just play one of those, you go down, it gives you all they're all just things I've put in there anyway.
It was Julia Marjada, the Dalby's book, the T.O.D. Nadal, the Unknown, Nugget, Noggin the Nog, Peabody Vanderbilt. Listen up, friendly. I will break your face and drink your tears. I will break your face and I will break your face and drink your tears.
I gotta hear that. BootTunes.com. Oh, here, lady.
Listen up, friendly. I will break your face and drink. I will break your face and drink. I will break your face and drink your. I will break your face and drink your tears. Your tears. Your tears.
Good Lord, what's going on here?
There you go. That's the real one, I think.
Any accent wins the prize. British, which is where I did Sherry Bobbins from. Excuse me, darling. I think we're supposed to go this way. I know you're going that way, but I think like the road is supposed to go this way. Somebody Sam, which is kind of a Texas voice for me. So doing an Irish accent of whatever you would like to do, that would be great. Or a Spanish accent or whatever I would like to do, I can do all of them. I am a quarter Mexican, so actually I can do a Spanish accent. It's fantastic. Ay, por Dios, Santa Maria, California girl. Like, okay, yeah, really? Yeah. So we go, oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can to protect it. Do everything on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. We go, oh yeah, I'm gonna do. Really? Yeah. So we go, oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can to protect it. It's beautiful. I'm like, okay, yeah, really? Really? Yeah. So we go, oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can to protect it. It's beautiful.
You're not making fun of our national treasure, are you?
Hello? Vice President? Of what? Piper? Willow? I will turn this motorcade around.
Brilliant. Oh, was that that
one?
Yes.
That last one is a Sarah Palin, but it is played again because it is just Maude. The way she says Willow, I know she's supposed to be doing the Midwestern thing, but
yeah, isn't she Alaskan Palin?
What? Piper? Willow? I will turn this motorcade around.
Oh yeah, it's just her Maude voice, isn't it?
140%.
Yeah. So who have we got? She played, I think she was Miss Hoover. She was Maude Flanders, etc. She was Richard's friend, Martin, and
well, there is a few on here that we don't ever really
who are they? Who have we got to see? Little Mermaid.
The top one is a woman called Mary Bailey, who is like a governor. I was just going to say, I think they use her a lot more as random voices in like the early seasons, you know, like receptionists and things.
Oh yeah.
And it seemed to just all start going to, probably because it was cheaper to not fly Tress MacNeille in. But yeah, she did it for like a couple of seasons where she was mostly like the go-to woman around town voice. That sort of, probably when she left actually. I think it happened a bit earlier, but they just adapted to giving it to the other ones. Then when she came back, they just didn't really do it anymore. But yeah, Mary Bailey, that's Barbara Bush, that's Richard. Oh no, that's Lewis, I mean Bart's friend, who she doesn't name. She names Richard Duff. Mrs. Albright, the Sunday school teacher. I can't remember her. She's the next. I thought that's Mrs. Winfield actually. That's Quimby's wife. That's Quimby's wife.
She's clearly based on Jackie Kennedy, right?
Yeah, that's Martha Quimby, the old lady, Sherry Bobbins. Mrs. Winfield, she was the one who.
Baboon tunes, I hear that.
What was that?
So they were, at some point, the Simpson family was sandwiched between two Roswell women, housewives.
Brilliant. Brillianto. So what else have we got on this page? We got a picture of Maggie with all the ladies, 2 Maudes, Ghost Maude and Normal Maude, and she signed it, Lizzie Roswell. And then you got a picture here, a drawing. What brilliant marketing, 6, love Maggie Roswell. And it's a picture of Maude Flanders saying Maude loves the Quickie Mart. Do you think she's a chem farmer?
I do. I believe she loves a chem or two. I wonder if she drew that Maude.
Oh, no chance. No, that's a stamp you can see. That's like, I think she's got like postcards made with Maggie Roswell with a picture of Maude on it, but no copyright symbol for The Simpsons.
And her eyes are a bit PNS.
Slightly.
A tad.
Just a tad. What brilliant marketing. I have to come to LA to see the #1 Quickie Mart.
I wonder if she did. No, she's not flying out there. She's not flying out there for work. She's not going to fly out there for a Quickie Mart.
She demanded. She arrived and demanded payment immediately. So she's the joke for the entire season.
I wonder if she did ever visit or has visited the Springfield Universal Studios. Because she must have been to LA within the last 20 years, because she's been to like events for the show.
She goes there every week. She was just on principle.
She's also scared of flying, so she has to get a coach.
A yacht.
Yes.
Baboon tunes, I hear that. Baboon tunes, baboon tunes.
So anyway, Roswell, you've had quite the journey from traveling from the Yukon to California and now settling in Maggie's Warren in Moldova.
It's complicated. Peaceful, but complicated. I've finally come to terms with who I am. I'm not just Roswell anymore. I'm Roswolf too, would like it to. And both parts of me are at peace, mostly. It's like there's a calm in knowing I'm 2 people in 2 different worlds. I walk with me, and I can handle it. Maggie's Warren is this odd, cosy little place that's sort of a retreat, a hideaway, but also a home, and it has a recording studio. So it's the first time in ages that I feel settled, yeah no, but that doesn't mean everything's perfect. The peace can shift in an instant, and suddenly we're back in chaos. Take the other day, for instance. We were sitting around with my Fox crew, Tarquin, Quincy, and Quelverdale, just having a regular day, and then, boom, Dan Fox asked,
Baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon come, baboon tunes, baboon tunes, baboon tunes.
It is time to be honest, I am a Roswell. My children's saxophone and Buddha Jesus Christ are where I will let you find them.
What was that you were saying there, Maggie? One day you were sitting around and Dan Fox asked IMG what?
He's been married before, and that's when it all spiraled out of control. We went from peace to an absolute storm in seconds. I didn't expect it, but you never do. And suddenly, MMG is back with 17 rabbit voles, slinging hoses at the Warren. Marsha always knows how to make an entrance. She's not the type to be forgotten, and I'm not sure any of us can ever really escape that. And of course our son... finish the sentence. And of course our son, ACT Rodwell, is trying to convince us to try for a life on the island. And of course our son, ACT Todd Roswell, is trying to convince us for a life on the island where I can be a proper werewolf. Marsha Mitzman-Gavin is also found to have been living on the island since her Simpsons departure. Small world.
Oh, and then of course there's the B. Arthur War.
What? Oh, I forgot about that. Oh yes, busy times. I can't really remember what I did there. I think I was the Roswell, and I
something.
Yes, I will voice Maude Flanders on your shitty cartoon. Now give Ooks. Ooks. Ufakaniair. Ofuoyo. Toddy. Be quiet, honey. Toddy. Be quiet, honey. Toddy. Be quiet, honey. Of course you know me. Settle for one half.
Comedy ringtones. I gotta hear that. Open
the door, Maude. Oh, I'm panicking, Nettie. I can't work the knob. I can't work the knob. I can't work. I can't work the knob. I can't work the knob. I can't work the knob.
Phone call, Miss. I gotta hear that. Aboottunes.com. I'll come here, lady. It goes
Central DuPage Hospital, Northwestern Medicine, knees replaced, knees replaced, knees replaced, knees replaced at Northwestern Medicine Central DuPage Hospital. I was confident they could fix this too.
Wow. The end. Does that wrap up our interview? Thank you, Maggie Roswell.
Thank you, Maggie Roswell.
We look forward to seeing you in season 37 and so forth, etc. Oh, look, she's regenerating to be a... What's that famous Homer Simpson catchphrase again?
I oughta, but that's just one of those things, you know, like
what
where,
thing?
where you're just like, it's like a why I oughta, but you know, it's no big deal. Why I oughta what? Why I oughta what? Why I oughta what? Why I oughta what? No, it's no big deal. Why I oughta what? I oughta, but it's like a why I oughta, but you know, it's no.
Exactly.
Oh man, be Pampy.
That's it. Is the Yosemite Sam, isn't it? Why I oughta?
Is it?
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pew. Is it not Thingy? The big chicken one?
Oh, no, he said it, but
Even.
It's 7:06. Do you know where your wind chimes are?
And we are back on Dial a Deal, and thankfully we've heard back from Mary Lou. You may remember him as the charming young businessman who just before the break there was calling in about selling his red superhero bicycle. And Mary Lou, did I remember? Well, first of all, great to hear from you. Glad you're back. Stay on the line with us. Mary Lou, can you remind us how much are you asking for your red bicycle?
834 euros.
834 euros. And Mary Lou, if I understood correctly, people can call your Mamoon on Wednesdays to get that bicycle. Is that correct?
Yes, very correct.
And can you let us know what is your Mamoon's phone number?
Forgot it already.
You forgot it already. Well, are your mum or your dad nearby? Could we ask them?
My mom is downstairs in this radio place, but my daddy is closer. Maybe we could do another pause and and go ask my my father.
Hey there. This is Mary Lou. Dad, thanks for your patience with all this. Yeah, you can call on Wednesdays to Bamoons. Her number's 519-368-0008. 368-0008. Thanks for all you've done today for Mary Lou. And sorry about the hang up there. He was just pretty excited about all this. Well, thank you very much. We certainly hope we can help Mary Lou to sell his bicycle. Can you remind us of the number one more time? Yeah, 519-368-0008. All right, that's 368-0008. And is Mary Lou still nearby?
Yep, by Rosie.
And Mary Lou, thank you very much for calling 560's Dial a Deal today. We hope we are able to help you sell that red bicycle of yours.
Okay. But it's still quite much of time to get to that brocante because it's tomorrow. It's gonna happen anyways.
Oh, you're selling it at the brocante, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
And where will this brocante be? Where can people go to find this bicycle if they want it?
Anybody know everyone? He's my friend.
Sorry, can you stay closer to the phone there? Mary Lou.
Yeah. He's my friend, and it's on his street.
Okay, and do you know the name of the street?
No.
Okay. Is your dad still there? Could he help us out?
Yeah, I think he's close by.
Yeah, so it's here in town, Owen Sound, and yeah, it's the one you guys were talking about it earlier there, down on First Street. All right, well, duly noted. Thank you. We hope to see you and many other families out at the brocante tomorrow down on First Street. Mary Lou, thank you so much for calling in, and I wish you a great weekend.
I wish you a great weekend too, and new listeners too.
Thank you very much, Mary Lou. So there you have it from Mary Lou. To all you listening to Dial a Deal, we hope to see Mary Lou sell his bicycle at that brocante tomorrow. More on 560's Dial a Deal in just a moment. We've got Susan with some beer cozies, hoping to sell those. That would be great for keeping your drinks cool this summer. And as well, when we get back, services being offered. We've got Jake's tree felling business out of Chatsworth. Coming up next on Dial a Deal.
So till next time, people, goodbye. Mary Lou.
I am Vernon J. Pentecost, and this is the Judgmental Hour.
Travis. Goodbye, Springfield's ficus plant. You gave so much to Springfield's life, as Maude and Luan and Helen too. You folking brought them all to life. Miss Hoover and Princess Folking Kashmir. Your voices brought the town so near. And it seems to me you gave your voice like a folking candle in the wind. Through every laugh and every folking tear, you brought life to every folking spin. But a pay dispute took you away to folking Denver, far from where you'd stay. Goodbye, Maggie, folking Roswell. Your voices will be missed, but we'll be okay. But we'll be okay. everyone's tears to Maude's grace. Helen's gossip and Hoover's calm, and every fucking character. We found a place, but now you've gone to find your peace, leaving Springfield with love and fucking release. And it seems to me you gave your voice like a fucking candle in the wind. Through every laugh and every fucking tear, you brought life to every fucking spin. But a pay dispute took you away to fucking Denver, far from where you'd stay. Goodbye, Maggie fucking Roswell. Your voices will be missed, but we'll be okay. Springfield's ficus plant. You gave so much to Springfield's alive.
And then there was some sort of thing with Maggie not getting paid or whatever.